Error occurred, please try again later. Так, ну это плейбэк мой самый, мне, наверное, смотреть не нужно. Свой же стрим. Или пусть будет, ну-ка, refresh. Та-та-та-та-та, remembering how to do stuff. Okay, it's going. Hello, Hippycat, welcome back.
Hey.
And welcome back to me as well. Alright, so I'm counting on you as usual to post the link in the Discord and all that kind of stuff. Because I'm gonna be fishing. I'm gonna be fishing hard. Check out my new awesome stream layouts. I put myself in a graphic and I added a background, so now there's no like black nothingness around the 4x3 emulation window, so slowly getting there.
That's good. Good practice for the future.
Right? I guess I probably should have thought about some sort of graphic to frame the emulator window better, like the borders of it, but there's always next time, room for improvement. And also, last time when I streamed, was it like Doom or something? Yeah, so it was actually Mortal Kombat, and I was still dropping frames, and after that, first I went to the hottest, newest YouTube tutorial, how to pick the best OBS settings, and I chose a bunch of settings that were completely different from what I had, and hopefully that improved stuff. And then I also went ahead and chose a better internet plan thingamajig from my provider, from my, how's it in English, how it's properly called, like a
ISP.
Yes, that internet service provider, right. And it was actually cheaper, a little bit cheaper than what I had. I, of course, still had like an archival, old, outdated plan, and so my plan included such high speeds as 60 download, 30 upload megabits, and now it's 100 how it was supposed to be all this time. And there was also a 200 option with the exact same pricing as the one that I had, but apparently my apartment building might not be equipped with the correct cables or some shit, and was like, hey, we might have to send out a master to lay down new cables if you pick this. And I'm like, I was doing it in the middle of COVID, I think, in the middle of the isolation. I was like, I don't really want to have to like go take a shower, clean my room in order to have a master over here. I'd rather just stick to a 100 by 100. So hopefully the combination of those two things might have helped. And also, unbeknownst to everyone else, I have switched to SNES 9X, latest version 1.6.0, I guess. This SNES apparently is shit, even though I liked it, but I was like, I'm just used to it. That's why I liked it, and now...
Hasn't it been shit for like years?
Probably.
We always knew it.
I mean, yeah, honestly, like, it worked well for me, and I liked it because in some games, maybe it was due to lesser accuracy of emulation, but in some games that all the emulators lag in, like Flashback or Doom, this SNES ran better, straight up. Or Super Mario World hacks, particularly mine, when there is a couple of extra sprites on screen. Hello Champion, hello Dude.
Hey guys.
Well, if it could, then maybe it just didn't feel like it. I don't know. But hopefully we shall not drop frames from now on. And honestly, it feels like there has been an actual, like, noticeable improvement in things like downloading Steam games and watching YouTube and stuff like that, which just goes slightly faster. And I mean, it was cheaper, so like, why wouldn't I have switched, right? But yeah, I guess I should do, for maximum testing capacity, I should probably play like a much harder game. By harder, I mean harder on the hardware, a much more demanding game. But I don't really have anything like that I wish to play at the moment. I have my Steam closed, so I can't even look at what's installed right now. I mean, Doom Eternal is still installed. I've played it at during the last event, like a previous month, where they had like the Retro Pixel Revenant skin. Actually, no, it was the little thing that you stand on the pedestal was Retro Pixel, and the Revenant just had the animations. I guess the skin was, there's also a retro kind of skin. So basically I ground a bunch of Event XP and Doom Eternal and got that, and now I'm never gonna use it because it's a multiplayer skin. Who the fuck wants to play Doom Eternal multiplayer? I mean, some people do, but it's... I wonder if it's just because it's tied to the... those like challenges that give you amazing amounts of event XP if you complete them all during the week. Which the first week I did it, and then I couldn't be bothered anymore because there's some people which are my level, my Doom level in Doom Eternal was like 40 by the time I stopped, and there are users like 200. And I don't know if they are cheaters or just way better, like in every possible way. I think they're just way better, honestly. Because when we do the battle mode match with me, like as a demon with another guy and them as a Doom guy, they just destroy us in seconds and the match is over. I think maybe they're just very good at aiming the ballista, and they also use the microwave ray from the plasma gun that I've never used in a single player in my streams, but I've tried it a bit afterwards. Anyway, fishing. So, since I switched to SNES 9X from SNES, we're still exactly the same situation we were, and I checked the end of my last fishing stream. It's even the same weather and the same wind that we were going to go into this third chapter of the lake with, thanks to the password.
How did you get here? Did you transfer saves or did you just like fast forward?
Password, man. The password is like two long ass lines. I didn't count the amount of characters there, but I input a pretty long password, and apparently it just stores everything. Yeah, my stats here, my records even, and the weather and everything that was going to be in the lake that we are getting to. So maybe that's why they're so long. Right, let's remember all the controls, because I don't remember anything. And also, ooh, foggy, yes, so the wind is kind of shit. What's the button to... Okay, there we go. Right. There are 2 more fishing games on the SNES. Actually 3, but one of them is Japanese and I don't have a translation anywhere, even on that translation site that has a lot of translations. People just do JRPGs, no one fucking does Super Black Bass 3. I don't know where Super Black Bass 2 is, it's just nothing. It doesn't exist. But there's also... I think some of these were mentioned in the previous stream, and maybe that's why I remembered. I was gearing up my SNES Classic Mini with more ROMs, and I looked at if there were... Like, I remember there were more fishing games apparently, because I think might have been Champion. Champion is the fishing enthusiast. Because I remember they were being brought up. Okay, this doesn't... Yeah, that's the catfish dude. Not interested. So 2 ones I could play, and 1 that is in Japanese, but it also includes like a store and walking around talking to people, so it would be really interesting if I could understand it. And it seems like the one fishing game that I couldn't play without being able to read, because there's, you know, you need to buy things, you need to buy the correct things. I wonder if it will... Ooh, another big fish. Catfish or something? Bass. No, it's a pink bitch. I wonder if I could, like, increase the contrast or something in the window, because the fog makes it really, really blurry, I bet. You were mentioned, Champion. Not exactly cold, but it's good that you're here because you're like the person who appreciates fishing the most. And Hazmati, I'm practicing. You can see my fancier graphics. Couple more steps towards greatness like this and I'll be ready for Twitch. I think then the other fishing games I'm gonna do... No, this guy is a bitch. I don't want him. So where are the big... Oh, there's a big bass, but I'm probably like way too close to the boat. No. No. Go away. Let's hope he bites. I set up rewind. Let's see how it works. It's very slow. Okay, but I think I might as well play slightly more honestly, because I've placed well in the first 2 rounds, so I might have a better chance even if I don't do my absolute possible RTA? What's the... TAS, my absolute possible TAS best in the 3rd part of this lake. Also, I'm gonna move OBS a little bit because it's covering just like a couple letters of chat. Who's in Russia, Postal Dude? I don't think anyone... Oh. Ah, yes. I'm in Russia. Yeah, that's been known to happen. 30-second delay. Does it have anything to do with where I am physically. I think it's just YouTube's default setting. As far as I know.
Yeah.
What?
Did you set it to like minimal delay or something?
I think it's on default. Let me check.
No, by default it has like shit delay. And when you are making a new stream, you have to switch it to smallest delay.
Added delay none. Stream latency, normal latency. So I guess I could like lower latency, right? That would solve the delay.
Possibly, yeah.
I think that if you have like ultra low latency, you can rewind your stream while it's going, and that has been known to be useful. Wow, there's a lot of middle fish. Also, no, I'm not working from home.
Sure you can.
Because I know, unless it's a separate setting, because the aforementioned VTubers, they always seem to have. I actually have never tried to notice if they have delay or not, but they do the like the play pause button is like a full-on stop button with them, and you can't pause or rewind. And somewhere a while back, I think I remember reading that the lowest, like 0 delay meant no rewinding, or something. Maybe it was on Twitch, maybe it was outdated information. So yeah, I don't know. But no, Hazmati, I'm not working from home. I've stopped working from home, I think, I don't actually remember, like on 8th of June, I think? Or around that time, we went to work. I worked for a week and then I took a vacation 2 weeks. I went to Dacia. I got bitten by like 1,000 mosquitoes because I had forgotten mosquitoes were even a thing. I also lost 2 pairs of shades in the forest. One of them I recovered. And I've fallen off a bike and that took off like a big chunk of my knee. Well, by big chunk I mean just a little, you know, dent. And it was very slow to heal. And there was a lot of blood, but I'm fine. And by a lot of blood I mean just like the knee, and not just like leaking everywhere. It was fine. The fun story is of course about recovering the shades, because now I guess they are too far, I can't really bring them up right now. But for some reason I go in the forest like an idiot, like a city boy, with the shades like, you know, hung like this from the shirt. And of course that's the recipe for disaster, because if you lean or you brush against some shrubs or something, they're bound to be dislodged and dropped. And that happened. Actually, that's what I had assumed happened originally when I noticed they weren't there. But it was a little bit more complicated than that, actually. So the shades that I took, they are not like the normal. I have never owned a lot of shades, so I don't know what's the most normal construction. But I assume it's like the frame wherein the glass bits are just like kind of like inserted into. And the thingamajigs that go behind your ears, I don't know the name for them in English. They are just connected to the frame permanently. But with these shades are kind of weirdly done, in where the thingamajigs that go behind your ears, they are actually bolted to the glass, and the glass is only like slightly inside the frame, a little bit at the sides, so it's not really super stuck there. It's completely separate at the top and bottom from the frame. And the main part of that is that the thingamajigs that go behind your ears, the flaps, the fingers, whatever, they are connected to the glass bits. And so I was walking through the forest, not paying attention to the state of my shades, being annoyed as hell because the path, I need to look up a lot of forest-related words if I wish to keep telling the story in English. But the path of the forest, which is like not just a trail, but an actual one of them clear paths without any trees, like straight lines that go orthogonal and like directional. Yeah. I don't know how that's called. I'm not actually sure.
Just look it up.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure they go in cardinal directions, but they might. So it kind of dips below water level or something at some point, or it's just maybe just a little dip, and so water collects there. And it's really swampy, like hell swampy. Impossible if you care at all about the state of your footwear, and because you can just lose it there if it gets stuck, or you know,
Google
make it.
suggests it's Glade.
glade. Oh, I thought it was related to like streams or rivers, but I guess glade works. Yeah.
Google says поляна, просека, прогалина, полынья.
Wow, that's a lot of things that are not even related that much. Polyana. I feel like I remember the better word for Polyana that I didn't. That's escaping me at the moment. I haven't talked in English in months. Since my last stream, pretty much, because I have no other reason to do. Now, actually, I might have had a Discord call with like a Ben or something. Once. Yeah, I think it was that time that I mentioned in Hippocat's stream earlier, where I tried to show a friend some serious Sam combat, and that was that. But yeah, so there was a real swampy area, part of that glade, so I wanted to walk around it because I wanted to just see and learn finally where all the glades go and how they connect to the parts that I know, because I know pretty much the entire area around the forest that we have. The forest itself is pretty big, and I wanted to see how it all connects together. So, wanted to go along the glade, had to try to walk around, went through swamps and got my feet wet and all that. So at some point I noticed that something's wrong, right? So I check my shades, and there's only one of the glass parts hanging by itself seemingly, just here on the collar. I don't really question how it managed to stick there. I just put it in my pocket and get really upset, because I didn't want to lose the shades. Obviously no one would, probably, unless they hate them. And I pretty much then and there decided I will go retrace my steps exactly through all the swampy parts where I just like went in circles and crazy paths trying to find a way to get through them. And I'm gonna look for the other parts of the shades, but later. So then I continue my planned path. I finish with it. At least the fish is getting tired. I finished with it, I'm going back, I retraced my steps through all the swampy parts, the sides of the glade, and it's all fine. And I didn't find any shade parts. I was getting desperate. Then I just go past the swampy parts, past the parts where I thought, wow, that was real close to my boat, I could have reached out and grabbed it. So I go past the places where I was likely to lose the shades. I go into like the empty, easy to navigate, easy to traverse bit. And there is a part just laying in the pathway that I crossed by like 3 times back and forth that I never noticed. It's just the frame and the other glass bit in the frame, but no thingamajigs that go behind your ears on them. So I'm like, okay, that's already more than half of the shades, so I'm already happier than I was originally with just one piece of glass, right? But still unusable, and still annoying to leave bits of them in the forest. So then, immediately after finding that, I just pat myself here where the shades used to hang, and I find that one of the ear parts was also hanging, but on the inside of my shirt. And that's how the piece of glass managed to stick there, because they are connected, they are bolted together. So I pocket that, and I'm like, yes, almost like 3/4 complete with the shades. And so, but I give up, because like this little tiny piece, how you gonna find it amidst the sticks and all that kind of shit in the forest? So I give up, I just go home, and I would say about like 20 minutes from home, and about half an hour from where I was searching, just in the middle of a clearing. Wonderful. Well, oh, okay, rewinding didn't just like destroy my emulator there. In the middle of a clearing, a large clearing, just also in the middle of a path, I just see the glint, and I spot the last missing piece of the puzzle, and thusly I have pieced together my shades back from, I would say, I guess technically four parts. 2 of them separately found hanging on my body, on my person, and 2 of them separately found in the forest, which was pretty unique. Of course, there's the bolting of the glass, and the other parts includes, oh, there's like little houses or something, they're cool. It involves little millimeter size nuts, I guess. Nuts and bolts? Nuts, yes. And bolts. And obviously I didn't find those because I wasn't even looking. Like, who the hell was gonna look for a millimeter-sized metal bit? That's beyond even the luck I had that day. So I had to break off bits from some other machinery and use that, and also like drop a bunch of super glue and stuff like that. But I still have those shades, and I wear them now every day because they're my lucky shades. Then the next day, immediately, I went with another pair of shades, and I lost them in another bog. I haven't found them, but I'm planning to go back in the second half of August when the mosquitoes aren't gonna be there anymore. And I'm planning to wade through the bog, wade through that fucking water bullshit. I don't think that's bass. I forgot what's the proper pronunciation. Actually, it might be bass.
Well, bass is definitely the pronunciation for, you know,
The instrument.
like bass guitar.
Yeah.
But for the fish, I'm not sure. Could
Man,
be anything.
my nose is hella itchy for some reason. I'm sorry if it's annoying, but I will not be able to stop doing that. But yeah, so the slightly worse pair of shades is still in the forest somewhere. Later that same day, I went there on an expedition with like waist-high rubber boots and on a bike, because that place is accessible on a bike slightly faster than walking there completely. Okay, maybe no big fish here. And I was tortured by mosquitoes, and I looked around all the challenging parts in the swamp where I thought I could have dropped them, but I didn't find them, unfortunately. It would have been a fucking miracle if I found them like in the water or something, but it didn't happen. Which makes me sad.
Let me tell you a riveting story about how I lost my hat.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just coming home from work, and it actually happened on like the metro station where I live, which is Medvedkovo.
Doxing yourself.
Myself.
Yep.
And so I just go out of the train, and there is a gust of wind, and my head just goes and flies into the tunnel. The end.
Nice. Wow.
I didn't try to recover it because I thought it would be like too much trouble, like coming up to like the station manager or something, and saying like, "I'm sorry, like my head is on the fucking tracks."
Oh, that's a shitty fish. You know what? Since I'm rewinding already, I might as well. Whoop. So your style of storytelling kind of reminds me of Sandbar, if you remember the story of how a doll fell from the fireplace. It fell down and it hit the floor, but it could have landed in the fire. Didn't even have a riveting twist like mine did. I stole the use of the word riveting there because you reminded me it existed. Well, that's what happens when...
You're the cool guy that goes to Dacha in adventures, and I'm just the boring guy who goes to work, so I don't have any cool stories to share.
Well, I mean, I also go to work, but I don't wear a hat. And I wear shades in such a manner that prevents them from flying off anymore. Okay, that's the same shitty fish. No thanks. I'll tell you, the funnest stuff that happens at work anymore is like at corporate party where we played charades, and I'm like, oh shit, charades are actually kind of fun when there's a bunch of people that I want to look good in front of. I almost fucked up my work.
That's total fucking cringe. I don't know how you managed.
I think I'm just very adaptable to things that I thought I would hate, like back when I was in the hospital for more than a week, or the earlier time when I was in the hospital, instead of a room I was in the corridor. Both those times, if you told me ahead of time, I would be like, hell no, I'd rather die. But immediately after being put in that situation, I was like, alright, I'll deal with this. And so I think I'm pretty good at like being patient with things that seem pretty either tedious or just horrible or just unpleasant in such a way that you're like, oh, I don't wish to go through this at all. I don't know. Okay, more shitfish. Ooh!
Well, I guess there was that one random time that my friend was in town, and we had some kind of like board games event or something, and not just board games, just like bullshit event in an anti-cafe. You know what's anti-cafe?
I don't actually know what's anti-cafe because I'm not really a goer to cafes. I only go to McDonald's.
Well, basically, like in cafe, like you go and you just sit there and you eat food and you get the fuck out. And in Aitai cafe, there is no food, but there are
Oh,
like board games. So you basically
interesting.
just go in there and you like pay a little bit of money, and you're free to like fuck around in there, like play any board games.
Actually, it's not
There were
as
like
interesting.
consoles and shit.
Oh, interesting. Again, interesting. I'm really
And
going back and
so
forth.
I was kind of forced, well, not really forced, because I agreed to it voluntarily.
Pressured.
Yeah, pressured, yeah, that's a good word. Just to hang out with people that I didn't know and play some board games with them,
Huh.
which included charades, I think. And
There is a
that didn't
board
go too
game.
poorly, I guess.
There's a board game that includes charade-like activities, and we have it in our basement at the office building. And I recently went there because with a coworker, uh, it came up that we both didn't have anything. Oh, that's a good bus. Okay, we both didn't have anything to do, and so we came down there. It was not my idea at all because I would never, like, you would never find me just going to fucking basement floor where it's like this little lounge, hangout, corridor type place with a bunch of board games and chairs and stuff. Because that sounds extra lame to me. But we went there because I was like, you know what, let's socialize a bit. And I was even like cringing to myself as we were browsing the 2.5 available board games on the shelves there. Yeah, like, what is this kiddish shit, like kindergarten level stupid stuff, like who would possibly be shallow enough to be interested in this kind of and then we spent 4 hours playing that fucking game with a bunch of charades and whatnot, but I won, so it's all good. And I also looked really smart because I'm older, but like 1.5 times, and I knew a bunch of words that are not used anymore, but for some reason they were used in the charades.
Feral Warp.
Oh, I guess, oh yes, hello War. I forgot that chat for some reason for me, even though like the YouTube webpage chat has some sort of delay that Hippocats sees it before I do. But they also to
Well, you
answer,
have like the studio chat open,
yeah,
and I have like the regular chat open. Maybe
so
there is a bit of a difference.
the studio is worse. Interesting. I was actually looking, I should probably try to put some effort and put the chat back in the stream as well, because there's often some space that needs filling. Luckily I was able to just pick a photo and use it for that, but maybe in the future I would like to put the chat in there. Especially when I go to Twitch. Because going to Twitch kind of goes hand in hand with, since they don't save anything, but there are bound to be like at least some highlights somewhere or some shit, I don't know, maybe just VODs that could be good for re-uploading to YouTube. And it's really annoying when you don't have chat in there when you watch other people, so might have to hard code the chat, bake the chat into the stream footage itself. But before this I looked up, and apparently like the chat link is no longer, like it now changes kind of like the stream link, and so you have to update your browser source every time, which sounded tedious. I didn't want to deal with it, so I didn't. But
Probably there is like some chat software you could use, even maybe
probably.
free. Like the stop stream chat or whatever. But I don't think it worked very well. Like it's supposed to just accept your YouTube channel link,
Huh.
and then it should understand that you are streaming. But I don't think it ever worked for me. I think a lot of Russian streamers use Rutoni chat, but that shit is expensive.
I am not using anything paid for this. This is strictly a side bitch in terms of activities as far as hobbies go and whatnot. That's not even a hobby, really. I just want to fish. I've been watching a VOD of a San Andreas Chaos Mod chat control speedrun by Hugo. And San Andreas puts me in the fishing mood for some reason, apparently. Maybe because of all the countryside in it. Or because it's like, hell yeah, 90s America. And even though you'd think I would associate nature and fishing with Russia as well, because we have it here abundantly. For some reason, hell yeah, 90s America. I'm like, you know what? fishing goes well with it. Maybe because this game particularly is kind of American style, even though I think it's made by Japanese people, because the prequel is all in Japanese only, so you never know.
Well, when I think of fishing, there was like real life experience that I had, like with a shitty fishing rod, that I was fishing for like shitty tiny little fishes, and like shitty tiny pond
Relatable.
near my grandma's agarot, just outside Mkat. And
Well-
that sucked, and I hated it. But at the same time, like, you remember those commercials on TV, like instant fisherman and all that shit,
I don't
and all
actually.
those like lures for fishes and crap,
Hmm.
and it looked really cool. Like those dudes in advertisements were using like really cool fishing rods and like really cool equipment, and it seemed really appealing, but it like clashed terribly with the reality of fishing.
I don't really have fishing experience. Also, Hazmite, I still remember you asked the question, I'm getting to it. I don't really have fishing experience myself. I mean, there was some when I was a kid. There was also like really basic fishing rods, really small fish, really moderately sized ponds. And the one experience I can actually remember, we were chased off because it was apparently illegal to fish there. But the biggest fish catching related experience, technically not really this kind of fishing, I don't remember if I've told it, but at our water keep, where when I was a kid we would just use to take an inflatable boat and just like take a little journey, because I really liked the view from it along the Eastern Sky water keep, which our dacha is near. And so the fish there, at some point when we were just sailing, we have like this one double oar stick with the two oar ends that we used to move. And so the fish there, one year they were infected with this like worm or something that made them have struggle breathing, and they came up to the surface like very frequently. And so we would just smash them with the freaking oar and stun them and then pull them in. And so after that trip we were going back to the dacha with this little like stick with a bunch of fish hooked on it, and people were like, holy shit, great success. And they were like, what you don't know won't hurt you, but this fish is all cheating. And we couldn't eat it obviously, so we burned it. But we did have the swag return home walk with people admiring our catch, so you know. But I love nature, and I love just like the concept behind fishing, which is just like plundering nature for some sort of mildly, possibly convenient, useful resource that is kind of random and is basically just an excuse for you to hang out in nature and just do nothing for a while and breathe some fresh air. So yeah.
I don't know, it just kind of sucks. Like, you know, there is like fishing, and there is fishing, and then there's like fishing that I did, where you just... Wait, where's my microphone? Oh, here it is.
It's
And
close
just
enough.
like basically sitting there bored, looking at this like shitty pond, and nothing is happening, and you're getting bit by mosquitoes, and you're like, fuck, I wanna go home.
Well, yeah.
But then there is like fishing, you know, like some people do fishing, where they like just go with their friends, and maybe they fish a little, but they just essentially just get drunk and have a good time.
Well, yeah, that's minus the getting drunk, and if I had more friends, I would probably go on something like that. Like to some actual lake with maybe boats, but I don't drive a car, and I don't have enough friends that are outgoing like that, so... Most of my friends are either from work or the internet, and so that's not really convenient for that. But honestly, like fishing, I don't like fish, and I wouldn't want to have the essential fishing experience of frying your fish immediately on a skillet of some sort and just eating it. Okay, there's literally nothing here. So maybe it was like, if it was a more hip activity instead of what grandmas do on a dacha, I would just like rather prefer to go for like picking mushrooms or something, or just like go take a walk in the forest with friends. But again, around my dacha I don't have any friends nearby, Okay, that guy better freaking notice me. This looks like another one of them trees flooded underwater situations. I'm gonna try to throw my thing as far as I possibly can.
Yeah, I think I'd prefer picking mushrooms to fishing.
Yeah,
Because it's kind of more interesting, because you like actually move around.
yeah.
You like actually actively search for mushrooms and such.
And best part
Pay
is
attention.
usually around like the late summer, early autumn, when you would go for mushrooms, mosquitoes are already gone, so even better.
There's also like berries you can find.
Yep. But it's already a thing. Like during that day when I lost my first pair of shades that I recovered, I discovered a little part of that glade that was, you know, the glades are old around there, and only some of them are being renewed by people on like quad bikes and stuff with chainsaws that cut down the logs, the trees that fell across the glades and all that. But some of them are not being maintained at all, and I was going down one of those. I'm pressing a button that does nothing there, but maybe because of that, and no one wants to wait through bullshit there, there was a stretch of like maybe... I have a very poor sense for how long a meter is, but let's just say like alongside the glade, maybe like 4 meters across, 5 meters across, and I would say like 10, 15 meters long. Just like this rectangular, roughly rectangular area that was just fucking chock full of strawberries, the wild kind of strawberries, and literally just like to everywhere. But due to the amount of mosquitoes, it was really inconvenient to stop and eat there. I just like took a couple. And now, to answer Cosmati from a couple hours before, why did I go to the hospital? I've been in the hospital twice in my life. First time was when I was trying to weasel out of being conscripted to the army, which I conveniently have that little heart thing that is not really dangerous for me, but it would be prohibited, which is like a little open window between like two chambers of the heart or something, which might have already grown closed since then because it was old. And so I had to sit there and have them examine me until they find it, so I would be deemed medically unfit, because I didn't want to go freaking army 2 years, and was between school and university, I think. And the second time was for an actual problem where I guess I had like a cold, and then it was spring with my spring allergies to life renewing itself. I like walked through a cloud of pollen from birches or something, just brazenly, completely disregarding all my negative reactions to them that I usually have, because I believed I was getting better every year, which I am. And so I guess I just like activated too much, and I had the thing where like the whole underneath my face, there was like shit brewing that was not very good for me. And if I let it, like, I started having headaches, especially when I leaned forward, and I think my nose was constantly stuffed. And so eventually my parents actually pressured me to go like take an x-ray or something, because I wouldn't have done it, and I would have died if I hadn't done it, because apparently that shit, if you let it just stew there, it can slowly rot through your skull, and that's no good. That's not a good thing. So I had to have it drained every morning for 11 days in the hospital. And at around like 8-9 days they were like, you know, it's taking longer than it should, so maybe how about an operation? I was like, nah, I'm already used to this routine, so let's just keep doing this. And eventually it ran out, which they weren't sure it would. And now I'm, well, actually, I don't know, they told me to be more careful about getting sick because it could come back, but I think I've been fine since then. It was during my university time, so it's like more than 5 years ago, I think. I don't remember any dates of anything that happened to me.
That kind of makes me a bit worried, because I also have like this like running nose, and I have it like perpetually.
Well, that's normal. Like I have had, especially in the mornings, since autumn, since fall last year, like every other morning I have like sneezing fits. And in autumn and in winter I had like stuffy nose for like until until I go outside pretty much or something. Like one of the nostrils would be guaranteed to be stuffed. And the runny nose, if it's like any cold at all, like even slightly like comfortable outside. And it's like, it's like happens randomly. And I think it's completely fine. It's not that much. Like, if it comes to the point where you have a headache like every day and it worsens when you lean forwards, that's when you get worried. And you know, your nose is like super stuffy for like completely doesn't cure itself, because when you have like the one nostril randomly stuffy, you can lie down on the side such that that nostril is the higher one, and it will just like get well. Usually move into the other one, but in the process slightly lessen. So you can like kind of shuffle it back and forth a little bit, and it'll be completely fine. But yeah, unfortunately I've been kind of, I guess, weakened by the 2.5 months sitting at home, because when I went to the vacation on the dacha, at the dacha, immediately after, like 1 week after resuming work, I pretty much like, it was way past my usual allergy period, but I kind of felt like I had an allergy week there. The weird part was that it wasn't in response to being in the forest or anything, or any like physical activity, but it would happen when I returned, like after a bicycle trip, little trip, not a real like trip, or after the forest, I would return into the house, and I would like splash water on my face, and I would just get into like a sneezing, perpetual sneezing, and my eyes would start itching. It's like almost like coming back to a slightly colder place after being like in the sun, in the nature. I don't know.
Hey Mike,
Hello, Mike. Yes, I know.
Android should learn from you
What does he
about
do?
stream layouts.
I've not remembered what he does. I looked at him like once, I think.
Well, I'll just probably like link you Mike's VOD with all the interesting
Alright, makes
things.
sense. But yeah, I was thinking I need at least like, it was always kind of hanging in the back of my head that I want to frame every little like bit of thing, like the window where the emulator is or whatever, or my face cam. But I was too lazy for the emulator window, so I only framed my face cam. And for Doom, I of course will put it in the status bar where Doom Guy's face is, even though that's kind of too small, but not really. And I want to make like a generic graphic that's just like mine, or anything that I don't have an immediate idea for.
Well, Mike, that might be true, but you just get creative with everything. Your streams will be good sources of inspiration.
Okay, I hope the fish isn't stuck there behind. Okay, I'm not stuck.
You do use OBS, right, Mike? Did you have to like install any extra plugins or anything to make all that shit that you made?
Also, my camera placement doesn't really make that much sense because it's not what would get displayed on that monitor normally. And I like things to make fucking sense, damn it. It would need to be like a side, kind of like this whatever gram of me instead, if I actually was putting in proper effort. Or at least make it like inverted colors, contrasted and green tinted, so it would look like the actual picture that goes there usually. OBS Studio. I'm not sure if mine is Studio specifically, but I don't know the difference.
Well, if it's not classic old OBS, then it's probably Studio.
Well, it's probably not old because it keeps begging me to update it, which I sometimes do, but not always.
So it's probably Studio then.
Yeah. Doesn't say studio on the window, but I think it might on the shortcut that I use for it.
Yeah, Streamlabs is just dicks. Fucking dickheads. Why did they call their shit OBS? I downloaded it by accident once when I was trying to download the actual OBS.
Yeah.
Fucking dickheads.
So it's like an OBS type software that's just called something else OBS? Or is it
Yeah.
different? Interesting.
And it kinda sucks.
Because I just know Streamlabs apparently is like an alternative way for people to donate if you don't want to super chat on YouTube.
Yes.
And I only know that from Big Mac Davis. Who I think at some point someone specified which way they donated, and apparently like YouTube takes a bigger cut or some shit, I don't know. Or takes a cut at all and Streamlabs might not, I don't know. I actually had a dream this night or previous night that I started streaming on Twitch, believe it or not. I have dreams about the stupidest things, like things I don't really care about. But I might have like had a stray thought, and I was like, holy shit, this guy just thought about something new that's not the same thing he has been thinking about for like months. It's a highlight. I need to make a dream about this. And well, my angular strength is just 0, like I literally cannot, okay, now I can. And so my dream was that I started the stream, but it was like I didn't actually start OBS or any sort of broadcast. I just started like formally started the stream, and I guess I was probably displaying like some sort of picture image that people do when it's like, hey, stream soon. And there was some sort of like bit goal or bit like something out of 10, or I don't know, some type of bit countdown, and people were like giving me bits before I started the stream, and I was waiting for them to fulfill the bit goal before the stream for some reason, and they did quickly. I was like, oh. But
So
yeah,
it having wet dreams about beats on Twitch.
I mean, prior night I had a dream about that my boss at work sent me like 50 letters, 50 emails, all just like ranting about how he knows that I don't actually do anything, and how he was like, fucking do something for once. I know that you don't actually do any work, goddamn, I need results. Even though I do everything that is asked of me, I do, but it's just like sometimes for weeks nothing is asked of me, and I never say like, hey, maybe give me some work, because I'm not that type of person.
No, that's probably a good approach actually. Because like the more you volunteer, the more shit you will end up doing, and like the expectations will kind of raise, and you will have doing like your job and other people's jobs, and fucking everything for the same salary.
Yep.
And that's probably not gonna be very cool.
Yeah, we've kind of stopped. I don't know if I will have a reason to do like Unity prototypes in the near future, because the ones that I did were successfully transferred over to the actual programmers that do actual apps, and so now they do like the research and thinking about the methods of achieving things that don't seem like they would work and stuff like that. So we are not seemingly looking for anything new. So I'm at the moment just I'm stuck with editing a lot of videos and stuff. But it's actually mildly fun. I'm learning new little bits about in Vegas, which I don't know if they'll ever become useful to me, but maybe, you know, maybe I make a game and I want to make a trailer for it or some shit. Or maybe I go back to doing Let's Plays if they come into vogue again on YouTube or something. Ooh, that's a big ass fish. Hopefully it's a bass.
Hello, Polizon, or however your nickname is pronounced. Is that a greeting, or is that something I need to delete from chat?
Yeah,
not sure.
I mean, even if it's not a greeting, even if it's supposed to be like a remark, it's fine. I'm not that kind of... Okay, that fish is not really interesting me, alright. I'm not that touchy.
I'm just mad with power.
That
Mike
makes sense.
Ruined me
I mean, I'm not gonna stop you.
moderating.
This channel is a lost cause anyway, so do what you want. But only my main concern with like, hey, mods, start deleting shit, is when, if you remember, like during Ocarina of Time, some people came, or it was like one person. Some people came because like a German streamer on Twitch mentioned me or something, but there was one person who was like just like swearing left and right. And at that point, it's like clear, hey, ban. But I find that people who just like, you are not sure about them or you think they're trolling, always seems like the best. Like, at least when I see people do it, it feels the best to just, it's like, hey, alright, I get you. Have your fun, and you know, I'm not gonna stop you. Ah, yes, Sony Vegas.
Well, if you're gonna stream on Twitch, that's probably something you're gonna have to deal with. Because apparently Twitch doesn't like when users like write shit in chat.
Yeah. Yep, fish.
Like you can get in trouble if on your stream like people talk shit.
There's, I think there's like banned words you can go ahead and ban unless like all the super bad words are like pre-banned or something. Like the N word, can't have that. Okay, this fish is annoying me. It's kind of laggy here, I guess because of the rain. This is SNES 9X fucking lagging when it could not lag, like a proper, less accurate emulator.
And I still have no fucking idea what you're talking about, Mike. I guess I'll have to watch the VOD or something.
Interesting. Sexual drama. Never would expect that from like speedrunners of minor following, if that's not an offensive thing to say. Maybe you should go to a GDQ now. You seem qualified now. If such things happen. Well,
fuck GDQ.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, GDQ, I say that not as a good thing. Also, hate speech. Only bad when, you know, the platform will punish you for people doing it. Or for you doing it.
Apparently there's been like a lot of shit in speedrunning community where people getting accused of like harassment and such.
Well, not only speedrunning, even like fighting game communities, apparently Smash. Oh, it's really lagging, like the rain does not play nice. And neither does this fish. Ugh. Maybe I need to use the worm. I still don't know how the lures properly work in this game, but whatever. Worm. Worm has the advantage of not having to move back towards my boat to wiggle, wiggle, jiggle, jiggle, attract the fish. Then again, when I get stuck on that rock, neither does that other thing that I was using, but maybe that's suboptimal, so I need to sink the worm, I know that much. Or I think I know that much, I need to sink the worm, and I just like do this. Maybe I need to get myself one of them like displays for what buttons I'm pressing. Because right now I'm like mashing directions. Which
You can probably enable that in any emulator somewhere.
Maybe. Okay, this does not even affect the fish at all. So maybe I was wrong about the worm. I know it works sometimes. Commit elephant into... I don't know what that means. Is that a... Oh, is that one of them YouTube sensitive ways of saying like commit another thing, or is it just a phrase I don't understand? What was the like meme for
what can you commit?
KYS? There's a meme phrase for it that
yes,
I don't remember.
That.
But it's not that phrase, so it's maybe like more.
Be a hero.
No, that's old. That's really old. I've seen one recent where like people, it doesn't even sound related at all. Then again, being hero also doesn't, but you know. Okay, I'm not gonna give up on this fish, but I'm gonna have to change my approach a little bit here. Maybe instead of getting stuck on the rock, or what if I became purple? With kind of ugly blue dots. I'm almost wondering if I should enable like the filtering, because really like on a TV it blurs things, so this is not accurate to the actual console playing experience. Okay, I landed probably too close to it, so it's now... Oh, it's responding to my purpleness a bit slowly, but it is. Come on, you know you want it. I'm purple for you, baby.
Didn't that game come with a manual that actually explained all that shit?
What, like the lures and stuff? I've been trying
Yeah,
to
how
consult
everything
it.
works.
I've been trying to consult it time and time again. That's actually, it's right here, I think. Yeah, there's the manual. I wonder what escape does. Well, so there's the manual and there is the list of lures. Let's see, is it showing? Yeah, it's showing. And so the ones that I use are, I think it's like this one here. That's the one I always use. And here's a worm, and for the worm it says tapping control pad down. And actually the one that I use, I'm not using how it's suggested here, because it says using a start stop motion, but I will go left and right for some reason. We're very used to doing that. So I'm not sure how accurate it is, and also it probably... Time like this, I imagine that the game is coded really particularly in terms of what works and how it works. But the manual is probably worded a bit like liberally about it, and maybe not entirely accurate or 100% useful for deciphering exactly how the game actually works. Well, I'm kind of sick of this fish, but I think maybe I should throw a bit farther so I approach it from afar and not just like escape immediately. Super Black Bass, I guess it should be in the game, marked which game still, because I inherited the settings of a previous Super Black Bass stream for this one.
I don't think you have it.
Well, it's on my live stream like page. It says it, category gaming game Super Black Bass.
Yeah, I don't see it on the actual stream page. Just YouTube being YouTube, I guess.
Does it just not show anything, or is it just saying like
Yeah,
empty
there's just
field?
nothing there.
Oh,
Just the Discord link.
I guess that's the description. Maybe it's in some other place now.
Like normally there is a button that says Еще, and you click on it and you see the category. But that button is just not there for me.
Well, are you like fighting the new YouTube layout at the moment?
I'm not fighting anything.
Oh, because I thought maybe like an extension, because I was fighting the YouTube layout for a while, and I was using like extensions and scripts and whatnot to just skip the one that used to exist months ago, and it made some things just not work, but overall look like it used to. Now I've given up, and I think I've seen the field for where the game, which game it is on people's streams. I feel like it's just like elsewhere.
Well, I did agree with that Twitch has better categories. Like, I'm not arguing that. Oh, I guess you can subscribe to categories on YouTube as well. It just kinda works like shit. I think I subscribed to No One Lives Forever or something. Yeah, I did.
I should stream just chatting. I hear that's a popular category. Or like IRL. Is that the category for like blogs or vlogs or whatever? Where you walk around with the camera and like prank people or some shit? Or is that just chatting now as well?
Well, just chatting is just chatting. Mike says just chatting when he sits after the stream and just talks crap.
Oh, so you like change it in the middle of a stream when you change what you're doing?
Yeah.
Cool. That's a bit much effort for me. I don't know if I would do it. You know what I think I should do? When I move to Twitch, for some reason, one of the first things that I want to do is that thing that I wanted to do on YouTube a while back, that I think maybe like Postal Dude might remember, because he is like the Might and Magic guy as far as I remember. I wanted to do like shitty parties, Might and Magic 6 and 7. Like All Archers, Might and Magic 6, I've practiced that, and I think I beat the game using All Archers, so it's possible. Though I'm pretty sure I switched to Blasters when they became available, but up until Blasters I played all archers. It's different. But I also thought about possibly doing like a Konosuba party Might Magic 7. So like doing the stats and classes like the 4 characters there, which fits because there's 4 characters in Might Magic 7 as well, and you can set their stats manually before the session, so you can make like the minimal luck, minimal like below average intelligence, stuff like that. Though some of those stats don't really have any effect, like luck barely does anything. But it would be fun to have like a completely inaccurate knight. I guess paladin will be too much for darkness, because paladins in Might Magic they like do actual magic. So probably better to have her knight with no sword. Well, I mean, I think knight started the sword skill, but like if you put 0 accuracy, maybe she'll miss a lot. Then the cleric, which in Might Magic having low intelligence for clerics is completely fine, so Aqua will be fine. Then I guess the mage with like implosion or something. What's the closest? I can't really like make the mage know one spell, but I can make them use no spell until we find that the one that is most explosion like. I guess technically Fireball kind of explodes, and there's like Meteor and stuff like that. Starburst, Implosion is air magic, so it's, I don't know if it's the same vibe. And I don't know if I would make like Kazuma a thief or a ranger. Ranger is the class that like can do everything pretty much, but kind of like at the medium level, not very good. So that seems to fit. But also thieves have a lot of thief skills, so you know. I don't think Ranger actually has thief skills particularly, so maybe thief is better.
And then you'd have to go ahead and mod the game to have their actual portraits and voice lines.
Well, I don't think that's actually hard. I think it's pretty easy to replace the portraits and such. I know there's a program called MM7 View that I think I used to extract like textures, and I think it also can do sounds from the Might Magic 6 and 7 resource files. So maybe it can replace them as well, or maybe there are other tools. How about let's try relying on the fish finder once again? What if it works this time? It's probably gonna be empty
Konosuba party
nothingness.
could be a pretty nice meme.
Yeah, but I mean the annoying part is of course that the drawbacks don't really work as drastically in Might Magic. Like you can't make someone just never hit unless you never attack, and there's no exact explosion spell, and intelligence for priests is completely unnecessary. I always, like, everyone uses this dumb stat: personality on mages and intelligence on priests, clerics I guess rather. So I'm not sure how. I think there's a JRPG based on the property which actually has all the parameters and everything work just like in the show. But from what I've heard, all of their games are like Japanese only or something, so didn't even bother looking for deeper into it. Okay, I'm just, you know, fish finder. It's only good for containing my face. Apparently, it used to work for me somehow, but not anymore. Now the fish doesn't want to align with what it shows. Maybe this is like a special location now. These like bushes or whatever they are. Also, I have replayed Might Magic Clash of Heroes recently, and by all accounts I should fucking hate it, like despise it completely. But it's like a slightly fun match 3 style game at its heart, and those, if just like barely themed to my liking, I can enjoy them sometimes. Like I'm growing old, and now I enjoy simple fucking casual games sometimes. Like I played a bunch of Panel de Pon on my Switch in the little thing which has like SNES games on it.
Played what?
Well, it's like also like a puzzle game with match 3 and blocks and all that, but it's... Oh, I didn't mean to do that at all, actually. Whoop, never happened. It's been localized as Tetris Attack, but originally it's Panel de Pon, I think. And it basically involves like blocks of different colors dropping, and you can only manipulate them by swapping two nearby blocks, and you need to form threes
Oh, I think I've seen it.
and do combos and stuff. And I play the mode where you like play against a series of AIs and you send each other garbage. And I've gotten to like the last bosses on hard, but there I need to rely on the rewind and stuff like that, because it becomes kind of brutal. I have no idea how to set up combos consciously, because it just kind of happens sometimes. I found that like the original game has a music track that was mostly cut. It's used, but it's used very minorly in Tetris Attack, and it's a really cool music track. Yeah, there's way too much fish. A really cool music track. So in the original Japanese game, you play as like a fairy of some sort, and you fight other fairies that were like brainwashed to be evil or some shit. And then there's a couple beasts. Then there's like this warlord type guy who is called like Beelzebub or some, I don't remember exactly, but some like generic anime Latin name. And if you play on hard, after him, you fight this like suddenly, because he has a very wacky music track and everything in style, and it's like just like this tuba thing or whatever. And if you beat him on hard, you get to this like epic Final Fantasy final boss style, just like giant goddess of light with looks like an icon, has like the fabric swirling around her, and the music is hella epic for her fight, just unexpectedly. And of course, in Tetris Attack, because it's themed after like Yoshi's Island, Bowser is replacing the guy with the wacky music, and Mario doesn't have a character epic enough for the light goddess, what's her name? So they cut that whole thing and its music, which is a shame. Yeah, this is the repeat of the exact same situation, like the fish just like goes upwards. Maybe I need to wait for it to return. Ah. Maybe I need to stick around where it is, and even though it's going upwards, I need to just like stay there faithfully. I'm just hoping, like, this is the last third of this lake, so I'm hoping to finally get to the fourth lake, which has been a mystery that I just want to get to, and see why was there never any fish when I played it from a password, and whether I could find some fish now, and if there's an even bigger tier of bass, which I kind of doubt.
Maybe you just had the haunted cartridge. There was no fish.
Maybe,
Because
like,
it was the lake that Ben drowned in.
it's kind of creepypasta because that lake is the only one that's like has urban elements to it, because it's like there's a highway along one side, I think, and like some of the backgrounds have more like actual distant cityscape or something, I don't know, skyline, I don't remember, but it's like the most urban lake out of them all, and it literally just had no fish anywhere in it. When I used passwords probably from either the box or maybe the manual has some. I have some passwords written here, but I guess those are mine. I don't know if it has, I mean it has screenshots here, but not with passwords. But SNES games had a habit of spoiling passwords for last levels on the backs of the boxes, like Flintstones for example. And not Flashback though, I don't think Flashback spoiled its password at least. But yeah, so I accessed that via password and it was like a ghost lake. And given that this is made in Japan, it feels very appropriate that it will be just like a creepypasta game where the last lake is just unbeatable because the fish is all dead. Photorealistically. Eat me! Bite me! Come on.
This is getting erotic.
I long for more contact. Okay, there we go. Oof, yeah. Also, that's just that graphic for the fish jumping out, the biggest one, is kind of spoopy. That's, yeah, pose works properly. I wanna catch it in that frame. Frame perfect trick. Here we go. Also, I hope my cursor, no, my cursor is like just off window. God damn. Jump more than once, fool.
Do you have like frame by frame playback in SNES 9X?
Probably there were hotkeys for something that sounded a bit like that, but I didn't pay attention to it. But for that I would need to react even faster, like ahead of time. I can probably rewind frame by frame or something. Because there was a setting like the granularity of rewind 1 frame. Maybe that's why it's so slow. But yeah, I took a screenshot, or rather I think I took a screenshot from the internet of this frame. Let's see, my cursor is there. So if you look at it closely, it's just like normal fish eye that's just like bulging out. But in motion, when you quickly see it, it always looks like the fish is really angry, like there's like pouty, like it's kind of like, what's the word for it? I knew it, but I forget it at the moment. Scowling. That's not the eyebrow word, but like it's just like berserker mode.
Frowning?
That's also a mouth word. I'm just like when your brow is down. This is like pretty angry, like like Sonic Eyes. You know, he's perpetually angry, kind of like that. And the fish, like in motion, to me at least, it always looked fucking pissed and demonic. But it's just like normal. If you look at it better, it's one of those sprites that does not exactly convey what it probably should have, or was meant to.
I just don't like that it looks much bigger when it jumps out.
Well, you know, that's perspective. It's like in that art, like learning to draw book that I had as a kid. In the page about perspective, there was like something about a fist. Like ask someone to hold the fist in front of you, and then ask them to bring that fist closer. You will notice that it'll get better. I mean, bigger rather, not better. Well, I guess better in the sense that like more detailed or something. But yeah, as the fist is flying towards you, you will notice it's getting bigger. That is called perspective.
That is called getting punched.
In the eye. Yep. That book was also noted by a classmate of mine back in the day for, like, there was a page on graffiti style, and one of the graffiti said loch, which is like lamer or something, like in English, in Russian rather. Or like a fool. Noob. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't begrudge the fish for being mad. I'm just scared that it's possessed by demons and I don't have my shotgun with me. Hell yeah.
Everything's fine until the fish starts T-posing.
Does it have enough limbs? I guess it does. It could T-pose. Damn it, it's a shitty fish. Well, I have bigger fish, but... When did I catch 316s? That's nice. I wonder if Lake 4 is gonna possibly have like 21s. What's my record? 18. But I think from somewhere I remember that like 21 is possible or something like that, so... Anyway, 16 seem to be like the limit right now, so maybe I just need a couple more 16s and I'll be set for this trip. But yeah, the other fishing games I think I'm gonna play on Twitch. I don't want to really start anything brand new on YouTube anymore. Like Tearsome 4 possibly gonna do on Twitch. I need to just really stress test my everything, my setup with performance heavy games or something. And then I will be fine. Because I'm not comfortable with like how much stuff completely goes wrong every time. Usually it's dropped frames, but sometimes there's like weird sound issues. The biggest time when I was having sound issues though I've resolved, so that was nice. That was like near the end of Banjo-Kazooie, I think, when I was trying to use the Switch controller, which is somewhere, and I was using the like, that's a shitty fish. I was using the dongle, the Bluetooth, I guess, kind of dongle, instead of a cable, and apparently it was just interfering with the metal case of the box of the PC and was making like demonic hissing as well. Everything is demonic. Also, I like this. Is it just me, or is the sky like just slightly gradient towards the bottom? Or is it just an optical effect where like around the trees it feels like it's brighter?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell on my shitty monitors if it was.
Like as a whole, when you look at the picture, it feels like it's brighter, like at dusk or sunrise there. But when I look at it just like closely, it seems like it's all the same color. So maybe it's an optical effect. Oh well. No, I don't, Mike. I don't have a very convenient way to get to like a large body of water with a fish. Also, I don't like fish. And also, I don't have friends who would go fishing with me, and the fishing alone is probably really sad. I've not tried. This doesn't count. Imagine fishing alone, holy shit. Actually, a lot of people do, I guess, on ice and stuff like that, especially. Oh well. Now what, let's go for something that doesn't get my bait, I guess it's a bait, yeah, snagged on shit. I don't remember if I caught anything in these, whatever their name is. I think I found 2 shit fish in these, and I escaped. I rarely just go take walks in nature, closest to nature I can get at the moment. Which here is this forest park, where apparently I've been told yesterday or so that they caught another maniac in there. It's like 3rd or I guess kind of 2nd. One was a false alarm. I need to look into it because it sounds interesting. Do they, Mike? Huh? I guess it's kind of meditative to be in nature alone. But I find myself that like if I'm having any experience that is any interesting, I always want to not be having it alone, so that it's like it feels more meaningful. Kind of like what Hippocrat was saying about swimming while playing, because you know, just like it feels like playing without swimming almost feels like why would you even bother doing it? Because you forgot how to have fun or something, which I almost have. But at least I find myself playing a game every now and again. I've been replaying Doom 3: Resurrection of Evil, which I have mixed opinions on. It's certainly no Doom 3 base game, but it's harder, and I was wondering if my gradual improvement at FPS games also meant that I would be better at it. And maybe I am, I don't know. I feel like the first time when I was much younger, when I played it, I was like a pro with the grabber, and I could catch every fireball and flawlessly send it back, and the whole expansion was like me playing ball with the demons. I remember that kind of impression. But at some point later I tried it and I was like overwhelmed by how difficult it was. Now it seems normal.
The only thing I remember about it is that I was mad that barrels catch on fire when you grab them.
Yeah, I guess that's... They could do with just exploding when you send them flying, but I guess that adds to the strategery and tension a little bit. I am pressing all the wrong buttons today. I also enjoy that apparently something when you rewind has an extension of oops appropriate. Alright, no fish on this side. But yeah, Doom 3 still great. Though I am now more aware of its flaws, honestly. Especially where... Come on now. Come on now. Especially when, you know, it stops being dangerous. You quickly get used and get good weapons. And it's like, hey, spawn imps in front of you, maybe spawn an imp behind you. Or additionally, if you're in a specific type of area, spawn cacodemons or spiders instead. And sometimes spawn the zombie marines or zombies security, and that's pretty much it. There's like a period in the middle of that game. Is it actually a base? Yes, best base. In the middle of that game where it's really easy and not very tense because it doesn't do anything new for a while. I think it's around the monorail and then that shitty ass section where you have to like this lift that's interactive and cool and has controls left, right, up, down, up and down. I guess one of those should be backwards and forwards or something. I don't know, in all 6 directions. But it's really boring. Though not as boring as the little crane game you have to do in Alpha Lab somewhere to like toss a bunch of barrels down a chute. That's like the worst part of Doom 3 for me. But the atmosphere is still superb and I still love it's like the setting, the way it's realized, and the little PDAs for the recordings of how life used to be before the demons. Because that always, like the contrast in a game like beginning of Half-Life, for example, or all the recordings in Doom 3, if you're immersed enough, if you care enough, for me, or at least it used to be very effective to have a contrast to how like things were before everything hit the fan. And so in Half-Life, when I was younger, when I was little, when I was taking it really to heart, I was like, man, I wish I could it could stay good forever. Honestly, I would be fine with a Half-Life style game where you just go around, talk to scientists, interact with machinery, and don't have to fight any shit. But in Doom 3, it's like you listen to the audio logs and look at the video recordings, and some of it is like some of the things, like, it was really crap there, but they were doing stuff and they were like making scientific research and progress, and some of it was good. Of course, the conditions were really bad for them, but still, it was a really cool thing that was happening here. This like cool ass installation on Mars, and now freaking demons have ruined everything. And of course, in Resurrection of Evil, there's like the freaking artifact again, and just the fact that in the story they went back and pretty much restarted the OAC partially in the same place immediately after the Doom 3 campaign ended, and even people that were there for, I think, the shit, unless Elizabeth McNeil left before Demons all invaded, I'm not sure, but it's still kind of weird. And then there's like the bosses that are really crap, and all the elements wasn't made by the same people that made like Wolfenstein 2009 and Singularity. They really like putting some sort of like artifact-based gimmick in their games and hoping that it will counteract the really boring like gameplay design otherwise. Though at least I'm using the heart more. And also the heart is kind of cooler than the soul cube, and sometimes, especially how your arms, like hands, wither and age when you hold it. I remember being pretty impressed by that effect back in the day. Both because it looked cool, and also it felt really like scary and dangerous. It's like hella cursed artifact, but also having your story beats rely on artifacts, and you know, Doom 3 itself also kind of suffered from it, especially when it's like big mission, find a data linker, which doesn't make any sense as a device or a piece of machinery or anything, but it's a thing with a name that you have to find. That's not just a keycard, so it's more interesting, right? And always in stories there's like a magic sword that's the key to everything, or just the book or scroll, if it's fantasy of course, or some dumb shit if it's sci-fi, and I always hate it. I wish the stories were always based more on like less specific things than that. I guess it doesn't really make sense to describe it as less specific, but it's always boring that, you know, there's this artifact or thing that's just like there's one of it, and it's the key to resolving everything that the story is based around. I guess it's kind of like a more boring version of the chosen hero trope. I don't know.
There's probably some name for this trope.
I mean, it's like Deus Ex Machina or something. I don't know. No, Deus Ex Machina is when things just happen, right? Or I don't remember if it's referring to objects or story-like objects.
Deus Ex Machina, I think that's when shit gets magically resolved by some like outside influence that wasn't foreshadowed.
Yeah, maybe it's like MacGuffin or something. There's definitely a term for it.
Yeah, MacGuffin, I think that's it.
I guess, yeah, I just don't like MacGuffins then. Overly much. And honestly, if it's fantasy, then just relying on magic as the plot device and a way to resolve things and a way from which the conflict is born, I like it to be more based on like relatable things. Okay, I'm not 100% stuck. Okay, no, I'm not. There we go. Let's see.
Nice.
Cool. So now that we've established that 18s are possible, now I'm bothered that I don't have all 18s. Oh well. 16 is fine too. Don't take this out of context. Though it's probably better in Japan.
Well, I mean, 16 is fine. That's the age of consent.
Here?
Yes.
Oh. Well then, please do take it out of context, it's all right. I'm a creepy uncle by now, but mentally, and if I shave visually as well, I'm like 20, so I have the tools to be absolutely not creepy at all. Though I skip looking like a teenager or like a really young in 20s, and I just go straight to looking like a toddler if I completely shave. So maybe I need to lose some weight around the face or something.
I'm just looking like a hobo these days.
Well, I mean that's arguably maybe slightly better. You know who reminds me of you, like facially? I wonder if I should say it because it's like a vague description of what you look like, but I remember
Well,
that you
it's not
always...
that much of a secret.
I mean, you always tried... Oh, there's a big fish. You never did face reveals back in the day, so I don't know if you're still adamant about that. But one of the guys who does like Mario Maker and Mario World, I hope I think it's like Pangea Panga, that guy. It looks like
Panga, really?
Pang, like if you had like short hair.
And if I was Asian?
Well, I mean you I don't want to say it, but I think your eyes sometimes like you close them, or they look kind of like that. I don't know. Is he Asian, or is he just like has that sort of face? I don't really want to
Well,
say
I don't know. I
squinty-eyed.
think he's like at least of some kind of Asian heritage. Like he
Maybe,
looks Asian.
maybe. I guess kind of like even Markiplier has a little bit of Asian in him, and that's why his eyes are a bit thinner. But I feel like you, at least maybe the biggest reference I have is like some in the folder with my photographs. There might be like a random photo that I took as trying to like not bully, but back in the day when I was just like, hey, I'm taking a picture, I'm gonna show it to everyone, you know, like kind of this. And maybe there's just like sun in your eyes or something, and you're squinting, because when I think of how you look like, for some reason I always imagine squinty eyes as well. Finally said squinty eyes, now I'm a racist. But overall, like Panga, I feel like out of everyone I've ever seen, reminds me the most of you visually.
Huh. Okay.
Okay, that fish is unreachable. Only if I had super forward wind, I guess. Oh, let's try a different part. Or maybe it's just like real black hair and having a overall small feeling kind of head. Can't really say for certain. Okay, that's a... I think there can only be one sleeping bottom floor fish per area, and if that one was that, means that there's no big black bass.
Mom! Exhibitionist man from Twitch is threatening me.
Is that really a threat? Isn't that how they say, don't threaten me with a good time? It's not really a threat, it's a promise.
Sounds like a threat to me.
Possibly, okay, I think I just fished here. Man, this selection of fishing spots is the most limited here. What do they say in open waters now? Maybe deeper waters. Maybe I should go to the trench again. Trench bore some success. Also, I don't remember if I fished in this mud puddle here. Let's try it. Yeah, here there is obviously a gradient around the bottom, but I
Yeah.
guess if it's this obvious here, it probably didn't exist there. It was just like around darker parts. The neutral color seemed brighter locally. Fucking through! Yes, exactly, Mike. You repeat what I say, well, pleases me. Okay, this is a featureless void of nothing. Let's try a different part. Though with chat delay, I'm not sure, like... Maybe you said it first. That delay on my end, that is. And what I will do, I will eat a chocolate bar. Not really a bar, like candy. Oh, there's big bass. 3 bears. Could there be any more Russian? Candy called chocolate called 3 bears. I think I'm fucked here. Yep, okay. Not go to the right of that log, go to the left. Lesson learned. Should open my window because I'm getting kinda stuffy here. No! Let go. I did not consent to that. Fuck off! Bad touch. Fish mouth. Go away. Okay. Come on. Mmm. That could have happened. That could have happened. Yes. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's more fun to fish with time travel.
Alright.
If I had time travel when I was fishing, maybe I would like it more.
Watch it be like a 13 or some shit. Didn't look very big. I think it's second worst. Yeah. By very little. Improvement still though. Okay, but let's try the right side as well. Now that I know this game slightly better, I know that the fish hasn't fled entirely and might still exist over here. Bruh. Also, there's a bunch of games that I want to play that I don't really care as much about 100% like immersion and like, I don't know, it's bad to say, but like for some games these days I wouldn't want to stream them because I know that the impression is weakened a little bit, like atmospheric or horror game or something.
Yeah, see, Mike.
Alright, see you there. But a couple games, like I want to play Prey, and I will play Soma, and probably on my own. But I've been starting like some JRPGs demos mostly recently, and I was wondering about streaming a JRPG like blind playthrough as well, because that seems like something that wouldn't be ruined as much for me. There is a Dragon Quest XI special edition is coming out on Steam in the winter, I think, so I played demo of that on Switch and I kind of enjoyed it, so I might... Wow, that fish is just hiding under the rocks. I might buy that when it comes out and then goes on sale. And there's also that remake of the SNES one that I forget, Trials of Mana, I think. That's really like wonky, but I enjoyed it as well, the demo. On Steam even. And so when that goes on a bigger sale, I'll probably buy it and play it. Also, there's a Final Fantasy that was thoroughly recommended to me in a Discord server, because apparently it has like features that I like in RPGs, such as non-linearity and whatnot. So I think I even have that installed at the moment already, but I've not gotten around to playing it yet. So maybe that. Where is that fish? I need to hang around. Let it come to me. I don't know if it's a big enough bass actually. It looks like a middle tier. Ah. But maybe the emulator window is different size and I'm not used to the silhouette scale. I might as well catch it if it goes for me. Oh, these areas are real glitchy with the foreground, background stuff. Also, Hippocat, when are you gonna the DLC? Do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I don't know. When are you normally available?
Well, I'm in on Sundays, unless I have really, really unusual Sundays with plans. Actually, I'm available like the whole day. And on work days, it's you know, evenings after like 6 these days. Depends. Sometimes circumstances are different. Sometimes I want to take a walk home. Sometimes I get delayed. But weekends, just like throughout the whole thing.
Is it a long game?
I think if you actually read things, it's like... I've seen people do it usually in like 2 streams of roughly my length, like 3 hours. If you read everything and like talk a little bit. Which I'm kind of counting on you doing, because, you know, it's kind of essential to the experience that you are invested emotionally, at least a little bit, in the characters and the things that are happening, because there's a lot of just like slice of life, I guess. Not really slice of life, but like stuff that you could be tempted to skip perhaps, but it's really good at building up the like the people and the situation. And it's actually, there's a lot of interesting stuff buried in there to just read. Because I've literally, I will not say that I've learned about literature, but there's interesting stuff there to appreciate. Like, it's kind of like has smart bits in it as well. Oof.
Oh, I guess we could do it tomorrow.
Cool.
I was gonna do racing, but fuck that, I guess.
Exactly. Your heart will be racing instead. I wonder which characters. You know what? Since it's like a dating sim, maybe you should pick a character you will go for right away, so that I don't voice them, and I voice everyone else that you don't go for, because it would be awkward.
I'm just gonna try to avoid everyone.
Yeah, it's impossible. They're gonna like, what would the point of the game be? The game is gonna force someone on you, one way or
Well, I'm
another.
gonna try my hardest.
I guess your protagonist is kind of stupid, like in a way that it almost feels like he is trying to do that sometimes, but nah, you gotta pick.
Also, champion, you missed fishing.
Yeah, a
We
bunch of...
got like 3. No, we got like 2 16-pound fishes,
No,
one 18-pound,
I think 3 16s.
3. Okay, I guess
3
3,
16s, yeah.
and one 15.
115, 118, and 3 16s, I think, our current situation. And I lost the lure, so that was exciting. Oh, I don't remember where. I just threw it somewhere and was gone. Maybe on a lily pad. Was there a lily? Yeah, there are lily pads in this area. Oh. But yeah, just you know, bring like holes or warm tea or something, because not much reading throws is gonna be hoarse after a bit. I should do the same, because my thing can like re-irritate itself if I speak too much, probably. Though it's not been an issue at work, luckily. I've actually been made busy this week and didn't suffer any consequences of my subpar health during the week. It's probably because we had like the hot water disabled period right now, which is luckily ended, so it's nice. But I like to do the thing where in the end, when I have a bunch of hot water left from like the teapots that I brew and put into the... I don't even know what the word would be for this like big bucket white thing. Basically, I have a bunch of water that's too hot by itself. And of course the infinite cold water from the shower itself. And so I like to do the contrast thing where you like pour uncomfortably hot water over yourself, then you stand under cold water for a bit and back and forth like that. And I'm usually pretty fine with that. But one of the first days I did it this time because of when the hot water was like officially out. I had this like weird, like there was a stick coated my throat, just like across the throat, just in there. It was like not really painful, but it's like swallowing and sometimes choking. Just felt like there was an obstacle, like a physical sharp obstacle in there. And it literally stopped like after a day and a half. And then there was nothing, mostly. And then a couple days ago I just like ate some teaspoons of ice cream and I felt like, oh, it's like I'm getting sick again. And then I didn't. And today I tested it and it was fine, so it's kind of weird. But at work I've been talking enough. Because nowadays when I do videos, it's not like simple videos that I just get a scenario for and just do them myself formulaically. Nowadays it's videos that like a co-worker has to come down and we sit with her and she just has the vision for the video, kind of. Usually she's not the one who like invents it and plans it overall, but she like reads the plan and envisions how to make it not stupid. And so we sit and just like do Vegas editing in real time and exchange ideas and do stupid shit and have a lot of fun. Especially recently here we've been doing a video that will have like Russian narration with lots of subtitles, but we don't have the narration yet, so we're using Yandex translator as this like read text out loud thing and just having it read text out loud and recording that. And for some reason English words, when you have the overall language of that field as Russian, it's really horribly pronounced. But if you set it to English, the same words will pronounce properly, almost if it's like trying to emulate a really bad Russian accent. And in parts it's kind of hilarious. Like the app that we're making, or maybe already made, I'm not actually sure if it's already out, it's called 3D Shot, right? And of course the English version of that same voice says it properly, but if it's in the middle of a Russian sentence that I want to read it out in Russian, it says 3D, let me remember, like 3DC Choti or something like that. Instead of 3D Shot, it said 3DS Choti. 3DS Choti, yeah, not 3DC, 3DS Choti. Why? I don't know, but that's how it is. And of course capacity gets changed to capacity, which I guess is at least kind of sensible.
So why are you even editing the video before you have the shit that you need to finish the video?
Well, because there's a lot of stuff involved there, like arranging all the clips and seeing how it will look roughly, because I'm only lacking the the narration audio file, and then I will have to adjust the lengths of some things for it. But we're like making the clips, the video parts, like choosing how the subtitles and titles will look, so that they don't like overlap with any important parts on the video and stuff like that. Arranging it all. Ooh, that didn't happen. And Time Lord victorious, bitch. Now stop doing this. This fish is really annoying. Luckily nothing can defeat my time travel powers. The fish is getting orange anyway. Tough shit. ASMR, I'm so sorry for you. It seems like it'll be even worse than Subaru. Duck / Cthulhu ASMR. I wonder if YouTube has suggested anything from that to you, Hippycat, so far.
Not that I'm aware of.
It's the Hololive girl who has like a baseball cap. In some customers she says like a sailor kind of cap thing. Oh, 14.9. Wow, this is just like trash. And she has a really like kind of voice. And she tried ASMR once for fun. And she literally just like, you remember in Turok 2 maybe the Oblivion cutscenes. It's pretty much what comes out like. And like the clips with that are hilarious as hell. And she quickly realized it's like a humorous joke, like a meme, and she just does it on purpose now, just exaggerates it, but it's funny.
Who's that again?
Subaru. I think the first name is like Zora Subaru or something. There is like a 3D animation to go with the audio clips, and you might as well watch that. I think it might be official, and it uses her like official MMD 3D Live or whatever model. Okay, is that a good big fish up there? It seems like a... whatchamacallit, like resting on the bottom fish, but it's real small looking. So maybe this is just a bad spot. Yeah. But yeah, I don't understand ASMR so far. There are bits of it in like some clips that I watch and of the like highlights from Hololive. And once I was actually listening in headphones, and they were using like apparently a proper mic positional, so that it really sounded like whoever, I don't remember who it was, but like they were really close to my ear and just like whispering in my ear, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. But it's nothing that I would like actually try to sit there and want to listen to or anything, because I don't understand the point of it. I guess I was looking for another word there.
So
But
you didn't actually get ASMR from there. You just like the first time you heard it done properly.
maybe, oh, that looked like a big fish there. So maybe that was. I mean, I usually don't bother putting on my headphones, and my monitor has one speaker blown out, so I'm not getting the best audio experience normally. Okay, that looks
Well,
like a small
yeah,
fish.
for ASMR to work, it does have to be like 3D sound and
But like,
everything.
what's the point of just having someone whisper weird shit in your ear from real up close? Like, I don't understand the...
Well, like ASMR, like how do I put it? Like a lot of like streamer girls and stuff are doing this right now because there's just like a lot of nerds who would just sit there and listen to a girl whispering to them.
But yeah, what I don't
But that's
understand,
not
like,
what ASMR is all about.
I can normally relate to those kinds of nerves, but with this, even I can't. Like, why would you even want to listen to that? And also, a lot of it seems to be about cleaning your ears, which is also real weird.
Because like ASMR is triggered by certain sounds. It's like scratchy sounds like this. Like like crumbling piece of paper or like making noises with like
Interesting.
plastic bag, that sort of thing. That's what triggers ASMR.
Huh. I always thought that's like the background noises for authenticity.
No, no, no. And when ASMR works, like you feel that it works. That's a physical feeling.
So what does it do for you actually, like the crinkling or whatever sound cracking?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain.
Is it like
It
relaxing or
just
satisfying or what? Like
well, that
I'm baffled
one
at this.
time it worked on me, it just made me like mighty uncomfortable, and it made me just take off my fucking headphones and stop the video
Because
because it was like really fucking weird.
I guess it's one of those terms that just has gotten corrupted completely and changed the meaning, because everyone is now like... The first time I encountered the term, I think it was even weirder than like anime girls. It was like Funky Kong encouraging you in your ear or some shit. And I just avoided that thumbnail like a plague immediately. Even though I was slightly curious. But yeah, I guess now it just means sensual whispering about ear cleaning or some stupid thing like that. Also really weird, I went on their site to see like official info, and apparently there's a big thing to sell like voice packs from all of these characters, and it's like situation like wishing you trying hard at work, or like praising you for trying hard at work. Like, how sad must you be to want to have that, especially for money? It's like pure pretend. And it's like,
Well, I mean, it's like
Japan.
reading like second-person fanfics or something.
Well, I mean, it's kind of way less, I don't know, immersive maybe than that, because it's like nothing's happening, but you've bought a sound, like a 5-second sound of someone praising you. Like, I'd rather read a second person like wish fulfillment fanfic with outrageously like attractive protagonists or something. Even I don't really even like that much anymore. Did I ever like? I don't remember if I ever liked that too much, because I'm like, I know I couldn't relate to this awesome protagonist anyway, so like it's just pointing out that I'm not as cool at everything. What was I talking? I wanted to go somewhere else when ASMR came up, but I forgot. When I said that like once I heard it properly, kind of like the whispering, and I heard how it felt really close. I think that I was going to say something else. I was going to talk about something else there, but I forgot.
Well, if you forgot, it probably wasn't that important.
Yeah, classic reasoning. I mean, nothing is all that important in life. I should probably sit up slightly straighter. I'm sinking below the threshold of my fish finder. It's probably something HoloLive related.
Oh yeah, you were talking about that Subaru girl.
Yeah. Well,
But how we came to that, I don't remember.
I guess maybe I wonder if I was gonna tell you about that, like the official channel of the company, or like I guess it's kind of a company itself, because it has like a parent company, so it's a different company in a sense. The official channel has a bunch of like these short animated clips, and I think I linked you one, so it's not a new thing. You already know about those. I think I linked one to you, at least one, before, and I found them fun when I watched them because they have real good subtitles, so they're really watchable. Deep water cover. Or maybe weeds are deep cover. Oh yeah. I remember. I looked at Champion's message again. Apparently he used it in the sense of like something that's comfortable to fall to sleep for, and I just use like recordings of podcasts. Whether or not I really care about them is irrelevant, or what's being discussed. But I need to have just like people talking, because when there's nothing, I can no longer really like easily fall asleep anymore. When there's absolutely nothing going on, because I like keep thinking too hard about something always, and I'm too like focused on thinking and too excited about something that to fall asleep. And if there's a video, I need to like keep my eyes open and watch it and that kind of stuff. But if it's just people talking, I can turn away from the screen, turn towards the wall, and just slide there, and it's like I really quickly drift off to sleep when I'm just like doing something that is not 100% attention grabbing, and that I can afford to make them slip out of paying attention to, which is when I'm just like listening to people talk and not have to look at something.
I wonder if that would work for me. I kinda doubt it, because I also have trouble falling asleep, like almost always. And I just like combat that by like imagining, you know, fantasy scenarios in my head.
Hmm.
And that like almost always helps. But like all the sounds just really annoy the fuck out of me.
Hmm.
Like whenever I'm trying to go to bed, and like my dad is still watching TV,
Oh
and
yeah.
if I can fucking hear it through the wall, it just really annoys me. Or like when people outside, like I live on the 4th floor, and if people outside just sitting in front of the building and just talking quietly, not even shouting, just talking, and I can hear like tiny, teeny bits of their conversations, this is just annoying the fuck out of me. I just want to just go out and fucking murder them.
Why don't you? Yeah, I guess there's laws against that. But yeah, I remember that from childhood, though I've not really had a situation like that lately, because mostly like in the winter when father still lives here, I guess it's isolated enough sound-wise that I don't hear it. And of course, 11th floor doesn't get as much sound from the outside, only like drunken screaming and laughing.
That's also been a problem with like people being loud and shit. Like I'm just sitting minding my own business, everything is fine, and then I'm like, time to go to bed. And at that same very moment, some fucking bastard starts shouting outside my window or playing music or something fucking stupid like that. And it keeps happening.
Yeah,
It's horrible.
I feel like I remember when like every little distraction prevented me from falling asleep. But I think at some point it started, I think it probably started when I had like a backlog of something long to watch or listen to. And I wanted to just like, it felt nice to go to bed and chance going to sleep, but watch or listen to it from the bed because I was too lazy or too sleepy or something. And then I got so used to it that now it's the most surefire way to fall asleep is when people are talking and there's nothing else I have to pay attention to, so I don't have to look at it. And when people are talking, I usually, even if I'm interested in what's being talked about, I usually find myself just like dipping in and out of consciousness and then eventually falling asleep. It's also quite interesting because when it's like that, I keep like maybe sleeping for 2 hours, and if the thing is still going on, I'm like slightly awake, I hear bits of it, and then I fall asleep again. Or I wake up, I turn it off, and I fall asleep. And it's because like, I don't know, something is interesting about it, like, it's like it feels more curious to than just like sleeping through the night, I don't know. Especially when the whole, like, the couple nights, I guess maybe when it's louder or something, when something's slightly more exciting or louder. I remember, like, the whole night, I kept just like barely waking up and hearing bits of it and then falling back asleep. And it was totally, completely like influencing everything I dreamt about. And it was real freaking weird. It like morphed into a dream that was vaguely related to whatever was happening. But with it like combined with something completely from me, and it was super weird, but also pretty interesting. So yeah, maybe you could try that. Maybe like pick a podcast or something, people talking that's like mildly interesting, so that you can imagine yourself paying attention to it at least, but not really pay too much attention. Just like try to listen to it, but then you might fall asleep easily. I find myself that like if I am even mildly sleepy, if I'm not like well rested, even sometimes when I'm well rested, like at work, even in the morning after a good night's sleep, if I'm just doing something boring or watching something that I'm not 100% interested in, I will just nod off immediately. Doze off real easy. But then launching Doom for 5 seconds fixes it real fast. Though lately I've been playing Quake, of course, Arcane Dimensions, but now I'm out of that. I guess I started Dissolution of Eternity again, might as well go through that. But man, it looks lame and plays kinda lame after Arcane Dimensions. I really got used to the changes to shotguns. Are you aware what they did to shotguns in Arcane Dimensions by any chance, Hippocate?
No. The
So
solution is the official expansion, right?
yeah, well, the second one I think. The one that I liked more when I played them, I think. At the dragon boss. And a lot of textures that were like redone from Doom or something like that. So what they did to shotguns, apart from having a 3-barrel shotgun as like an extra weapon, what they did is the hit scan enemies as well. They made the bullets not hit scan but really fast traveling. And so when you use a shotgun, you can see how they travel, and it's just like so much better. I guess it's not as instantaneous anymore, but it really doesn't matter because it's just like, especially with a single shotgun, which was kind of shit originally. But you know, it's not really, it doesn't have as big a spread as many video game shotguns do. And it's really satisfying to see this like a tight bunch of bullets fly. And even at a distance, if an enemy is large enough, it hits just like the area. Let me use a mouse here.
Okay, let me stop you right here.
Like
When talking
this kind of
about
area.
shotguns, stop using the term bullets.
Bullets. Alright, well, Projectiles then.
I think it's called pellets.
Well, yeah, fine, pellets. Big fish, but too far. Dang it. So yeah, basically they make all the hit scan weapons yours and enemies as not hit scan but using really fast projectiles, and it feels really good. You can dodge the bullshit that the grunts do, and you can see your own stuff travel, and it helps you have a much better understanding of like how it spreads, and it just feels better when it hits enemies, and it's just like great. Not to mention, like, Quake I think is the only game where increased graphical detail is something that I'm not foaming at the mouth against compared to the original. Because in Doom over detail is like the bane. But in Quake and Arcade Dimensions levels are much bigger, much more detailed, and I'm loving it. To the point where, which is a first for me, the Dissolution of Eternity looks too simple and too old graphically to me now, compared to that. And I will have to adjust a little bit to it. Even though normally I am like the older the better in terms of graphics. Well, to a point, of course. Atari is a bit beyond my capability of enjoying.
I forgot. Have you seen the demo of Hrot or whatever it was called?
What the fuck is that?
Like, man, what the fuck was that game called? Give me a moment. I think it was Hrot, but I'm not sure.
I have no idea what that name is. I probably haven't. The demos that I'm aware of that I haven't seen are Wrath and that one game that's not Bloodborne. Gloomwood, I think, or Darkwood, or some type of wood.
Yeah, Gloomwood, like the thief game, right?
Yeah, only it's not like it's a survival horror with werewolves, but it looks very thiefy in environment-wise. Touchdown told me about it way back, but I have not checked out the demo. Okay, all the fish are way far away. Maybe if I throw maximum, I can reach it.
It is actually called Hrot.
Huh. It sounds like 10% familiar, but that's it. You know what, I'm gonna click that link right now. Oh, interesting. No, I don't think... Huh. Interesting. It looks like... Maybe I've like briefly looked at it before, but then forgot. I'll find it in the actual Steam application later and add it to wishlist. Or download the demo or whatever. They said the bass was heading to deeper waters, but here I am trying to like shallower parts again. That's mostly because I've tried the little abyss crevasse thing over and over, and I need to catch a fish somewhere else. Or it'll just be gone from that place, as far as I understand. The mechanics. Anyone here? Can't really tell, but I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Whoop. I'm gonna go left and do this thing again just to browse. Yeah, that's a shitfish, okay. But there's a possibility for better. And also, it's kind of nearing the end of the day for fishing here, so... Here's hoping my current selection is fine to place me in the top 10 from the results of the 3 rounds. Which will mean I get to go to the final lake. I don't know if it's any different here. Still wanna know the inner workings of exactly how like the areas are marked around. Is it dependent on like tile by tile, small tiles, or is it like half a screen, half the other half a screen or something? On this particular screen, and when it transitions to this deeper view from top down, like here this one is different. But still uses the same elements of the layout. Okay, that's a shitfish sitting there. I guess might as well do the crevasse. Is the rain clearing? Oh, the rain's clearing. Nice. It's gonna be sunny. Even more deeper area. I wonder if I should buy like console-styled controllers connectable to the PC, like SNES, Sega Genesis, and Nintendo Entertainment System controllers.
I wanted to do that when I was trying to speedrun Strider, but I never did, and now I don't need it for anything.
Because I found, like, in playing games on my classic minis, that the controller is the biggest thing that changes the experience. And honestly, people were right telling me, like, I like having all those ROMs on this little machine that's separate from the PC, and I can take it, like, maybe to the dacha, connect it to a monitor, to a electric outlet as well, and just play it. I don't have to bring the whole computer. But then again, I always just bring my laptop anyway, so... But then again, the laptop doesn't have the all the ROMs on it. But technically, I could get the same feeling and experience if I just play using those kinds of controllers on the PC, and it would be way less troublesome, because I don't need to try to like fit all the ROMs on the internal storage drive, or worry about the compatibility, because the internal emulator is not very versatile for things they didn't plan to include. Things like that. Things like that.
Didn't you replace the emulator?
No, I mean, you don't replace it, you just add another one that is used for games that are not compatible with the original one. And I think on the SNES one, the Hakchi, the program that is used to do all this, it's updated since I was using it last, like a year ago. So somehow it's able to fit more now on the same machine. So I put more games. Now I have 240 or 50 games on it. And but it changed something about it. And also some Good Samaritan produced a lot of patches for games to be more compatible with Canoe, which is the internal emulator's name. And so way less games need the involvement of whatchamacallit, the other emulator that you install there. And I think at the moment it's literally only one of my games that I put on it, which is Earthworm Jim 2. Because apparently Earthworm Jim 2 is like such a terrible ROM that was never ripped well in the history of mankind, that it glitches on like anything that's even remotely touchy about it. Yeah, that's a medium-sized bass, looks like. But yeah, it seemed to run fine on RetroArch, that's the other emulator. So it's literally like RetroArch is taking 30 megabytes worth, which is like 20 more games maybe on the SNES. It's taking that much just so I can run Earthworm Jim 2, and that's only because I don't even like the Earthworm Jim games that much. But I have nostalgia for them, for my real SNES days, and I want to have it, especially since I have the first one on there. And on the NES Classic Mini, ironically has like double the storage capacity on it. And so I put a fuck ton of NES games and also a bunch of Sega Genesis games. And all those use RetroArch obviously as well. Yeah, that's a big fish. I hope I can catch its attention. Maybe I need to throw slightly farther. Maybe the wind is better now. No. Yeah. 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 You know what, Hypocrite, as well? You need to do like a video reacting to Hololive clips, because it's like the hot new emergent thing that's gonna be really gonna be big soon, I promise.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that without webcam. I'm sure it
Exactly.
will be extremely popular.
And like the Series Sam 2 cutscenes, like just stay silent and say, yeah, that was kind of funny, I guess. In the very end. Yeah. Okay, I will not catch the... Why is all the fish so far away? Why can't I move my boat slightly closer to it? That's... getting on my nerves a little bit. Well, that damages the mechanics, I suppose. Let's give the fish finder another chance. Have I tried? This is the mud. Yeah, this is the mud puddle. I guess it's actually just shallow water, not the mud puddle. Mud puddles are different. It's like weeds or something in different parts of this lake. Wow, the fish finder is just like silent. Ah, no fish anywhere. I've scared them all away. But here, but that's a little fish. Oh well, keep trying the crevasse, I guess. Until I catch something worthwhile. Yeah, I'm actually really curious about the other two fishing games that I downloaded, because on the screenshots they looked interesting, but like you can't really tell a lot. So I wonder how this whole process is realized in them, how it's different, how they portray the environment and such. If it's gonna be as cool to me as this stuff. Yeah, that's a small shit fish, but the area is kind of interesting. Let's see, maybe that fish is not the only one somehow magically. Nah. The hole is cool looking, but the fish is small. Ugh. 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 Also, I guess I didn't really... I brought up Ben earlier, but didn't really have a reason to bring it up overall. So, Ben is the project leader of Horse Game, and the one who invented it, and pretty much the boss. And he, since he's busy with work, and he like has other ideas that he wants to realize, he has pretty much completely quit being the lead developer and programmer for Horse Game, and so now I am actually the lead developer of Horse Game, which is interesting. So now nothing stands between my vision and the game, but also
except your lack of programming knowledge.
Yeah, but luckily a person immediately wrote to us, or rather actually wrote to me specifically on our server after Ben made the announcement, and they seem capable so far, and by which I mean didn't do any programming yet, but just like talking about smaller issues, and they just describe approaching those issues in the ways that I find, yeah, they're smart enough. It seems like they are thinking like not just like some noob who doesn't have any experience, but someone who actually has had reason to think about these things and knows how things work and how things are solved and stuff like that. So maybe a good enough programmer has fallen into my lap. But it's really interesting, like the feeling, especially initially, like I've adjusted by now, and also due to being busy at work, I've not really been thinking about it a couple days here, but it's really interesting that now like I actually am the person who is going to be making the decisions, and I don't need to consult people to like make better decisions myself, and I don't have to like convince someone that this is good if I really want something. So I probably will still listen to people overall, because I'm not brave enough. It still does feel like my project, because it's not my project ultimately, so I don't really want to go like, oh, I have this unique niche vision that no one's gonna like, but I will be proud of or something. Also, that guy who, or I mean, actually, I don't know if it's a guy, but you know, that person who came as a programmer, I've been finalizing some documentation to help ease the transfer, because with Ben, a lot of it was just like in our heads. We just knew between us, we knew a lot of the design ideas and things, but for other people, need to document it. and we've been talking and like discussing, and some things that are not realized, some features and whatnot. We've been briefly like throwing back and forth discussions, and they actually have really good ideas, or rather really good opinions, I guess. Well, ideas too, yeah, there were some ideas that were not just like opinions on things we already had, but like new things. And so it's promising. I mean, they're going to be the me to me being Ben now. Hopefully they're not gonna take over the game after me. Hopefully we'll just finish it. But yeah, it's really interesting. And also, it's like having the responsibility, I feel like way more professional now. Because I was doing the document with like all the spell elements, and before my attitude was 100% like, we'll add anything we can think of, we'll add it. And this time I was like, alright, I'm limiting this to X number, divide it in this, like categorized like this, types like this, only pick the ones that are different enough and still useful enough. Limited number, blah blah blah, ahead of time, just decide these are the ones going in, no potential like future additions, lock this down, and like, hell yeah. My approach to everything just completely changed immediately as soon as I had the responsibility, but it's cool.
So
Now
you've learned how to be a project leader ever since Ultimate Doom and Name Only.
Ultimate Doom and Name Only, I just never even participated in. Did you mean Doom 2 in Name Only or actual Ultimate? Because in Ultimate I just like signed up.
Well, you did something in Name Only and finished it.
That was
But
Doom
then
2.
you were in charge of the second project.
No, I
right?
was never in charge of anything there. There was another guy who worked on the original Doom 2 in Name Only with us, and he just became in charge for a bit. But then some other guy was in charge of Ultimate Doom, which I signed up for a couple maps and never did anything in the end. But yeah, that's also a completely different beast for making a game. But I guess when I have to actually make decisions, I have to make decisions that I think are good, and deep down I knew what decisions would be good, but they didn't have the responsibility of making them on me when I wasn't really, I didn't have the last word or anything, on anything. But the coolest thing is that now, if there are still any cons, which are apparently still being had, and thanks to a certain pandemic, they're being moved further down the line. So if I go to a con now, I might present not as just like, hey, I am the second and like one of the people working on this. Now Horse Game is officially a Russian fan game, and I am now officially the lead and designer of everything, and like I have the last say on everything, so I'll have much more authority speaking, talking to people, describing everything, answering questions, and overall I will just feel way more important now. Because I am now like, there is no one bigger than me representing, that could possibly represent Horse Game in any event like that. Okay, that's a big fish actually. Big fish in a small pond. It would be pretty interesting to go to another con, but I would need to like have something new to show. Which largely means an environment, because like a couple new spell elements is not enough if we just put it in that same fucking castle level, no matter how much I like the castle level. Which is not a level, it's like a real arena at best. Come on. Bite, 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 bite. Maybe I'm gonna do the little moderate side throw and try to stop ahead of time. Because that fish looks at least slightly big. If it is the last fish I catch, I'm going to be this one. Okay, stop and go motion. Let's listen to what the manual says for this lure. Wow, it actually immediately went for me then. Of course it didn't bite properly. Yes it did, okay. Whew. Huh. I don't know how I came to the wiggle left and right motion since childhood, since owning this game on the SNES. I just do that with this bait. Maybe some other bait said that and I just misremembered. But yeah, so now we have 12 spell elements compared to the 5. Well, I mean have as in planned. And kind of like thought out almost, apart from one. Yeah. Like the last one, the ultimate big BFG cannon that still should fit the overall balance, is the one that we have an idea for right now, but it's not like 100% decided. But the rest, I was very happy to have made up, like, even the ones that are kind of similar to others, they have gimmicks that make them slightly unique and better suited for certain situations. Like we wanted, Typica, did you play the old demo with the sunny level?
With the broccoli?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might remember the laser, the last element that got barely used probably, because it's you open the door with it and you leave immediately.
Well, I don't really remember.
But so there's like the continuous laser that we wanted to have. And it's not in the castle demo, but we want to have it in the game. Always plan to do it. And so, as a secondary, in the old demo, it just had like this little weird fire clouds. Because I guess it was themed after the sun, so fire as well. But, of course, we are kind of, for elements that we can do it with, we're trying to make it that the secondary, primary effects of them are closer together. And to explain, primary is like, now we have 2 spells per combination, so primary is when it's used first and secondary is when it's used second. Usually primary does something and then shoots out like the secondary or a bunch of them. And the secondary is just like a type of projectile that does something but doesn't have to shoot anything else out of itself. And so the laser, due to another thing, I wanted the secondary to just be also a laser beam kind of thing that gets shot from other things, and if you combine it. And for a while I didn't really have any sort of... I mean, we wanted to have it piercing through enemies, so that's something, but that's usually not very convenient to set up in games like this, especially if enemies move a lot. And I was struggling to have it stand out at least in some way that would make the, like, especially the secondaries, the beams of laser, be different from, say, like shotgun beams that from the shotgun element, which is also pretty much like hit scan beams of a limited range. And I kind of like what I came up with in the end is that it could be maybe not as what's the word for like obvious, like by feeling words, intuitive. Might not be as 100% intuitive as some other elements, but we might as well just include like little description blurbs in the pause menu that would give hints about the special effects of them. So since it's piercing, I randomly thought it would make sense for it to do more damage to larger enemies, because there's this like length of laser going through the enemy is bigger than if it's a small enemy. So it could be a good element to use just against large enemies and do more damage than... Like, the spell cost, the mana cost would be balanced for minimal damage, and then all the damage extra you do on top of that by using it on big enemies is like a cost-effective win. And so that, I'm hoping that will make it different enough and good enough to use. Also, now I'm realizing this fish is pretty small, I think. Oh well. And there was some other stuff like that as well. Like, I wanted like a machine gun style element that fired things fast, and made it like themed after a sparkler. And so when it's a secondary, there's like a, you know, a little sparkler in place, like, well, it will, obviously. Nothing does anything right now, that's not in the last demo. But then I decided, what if it just like stunned, like did a pain chance kind of thing, because we already have the mechanic of enemies being staggered briefly by like high damage. But what if that particular spell, despite not being high damage, was like guaranteed to stagger an enemy? So that spell, if you wanted, you could use to like sunlock someone or whatever. And so there's... I feel like pretty much everything we've got is either interesting enough to play with or useful in that way. Or like I wanted an element like a charger basically just to have a bunch of effects where, like, if you combine charger and then something else, then you can make a kind of like a weapon, like, you know, you hold it and you charge and it just shoots a stronger version of whatever secondary is of the other spell in combination. So like combining it with a laser would pretty much make like a railgun or something, right? So like you charge and you shoot like a railgun. Well, like Unreal Tournament had that little gun that had like a sphere and a ray as two firing modes, so kind of like that ray. And so I wanted to just make the player able to shoot the secondary version of every element and shoot a strong version of it. And so the charger was born. But it's kind of challenging to make up how that kind of element behaves if it is shot out of something, right? So eventually we settled on the projectile for it being like, after you shoot it out, it like charges as it flies, so it gathers energy. So like you need to arrange things so that it doesn't hit it immediately, but like it flies for a bit, or like it probably will stop and float in place. Wow. Like kind of like a mine. Oh wow, yeah, holy shit, 20. And I said it looked small. Cool. Wow, I was so preoccupied with talking about spells that I didn't even notice. So it will be like more probably like a mine than a projectile, flying projectile. So imagine like a ball that gets shot, it drifts a little bit and then like comes to a stop. And as it leaves, it like charges and grows. And so if you let it sit for a bit and grow before it pops, if an enemy then walks into it, it will receive much more damage. And so if you position it in such that like it has time to charge before it hits enemies, it can also do like extra damage that is not like included in the calculations, like in the balancing of the mana cost. So essentially if you are smart with it, you do more damage than your mana cost would suggest you should be able to do. And so that seems like it could be fun. And a couple that are just like probably gonna be fun to spam or fun to experiment with every once in a while and then forget about. So it's pretty cool. And I'm gonna finish the documents for like story, characters and locations and like pretty much like lore bits. And I have a document to do about anime AI, because it's actually really oh, that's a big fish. It's actually really complicated to think about like how enemies are gonna behave, because by default when modern game making you're attempted to make enemies that use pathfinding well, and they can just like catch up to you like in New Dooms. They can just get to wherever you are from anywhere and use the same, like the whole level as Navmesh. But when you play old games, which like the combat I kind of want to base on, because I feel like it was better there, you notice that the enemies sometimes can be very limited to where they are, like the ledge they're on or the area, and lots of places they cannot cross or leave. Well, Hazmati, that's just a tradition from when I was doing Eternal and intermixed with fishing. Okay, stop and go motion, stop and go motion. Maybe I need to rewind even more. I allocated 100 megabytes to the memory for rewinding. It should be a while. Stop and go motion. Being far enough from the boat. Fuck off small fish. Yes, okay, cool. Maybe this will be my last for this session. But yeah, so we need to, instead of making enemies just like see you or notice you and then just follow you forever, we need to divide. Oh, yeah, jumping out animation makes this look like a big fish, because the silhouette size fucks with me, I cannot tell sometimes. So yeah, we'll probably have to like make it so the enemies stay confined to areas and they just like try to stand in the closest place to you, but within the area that they're confined to, and shoot from there, for example. Or just like if they're melee weapon enemies, they would have to behave slightly differently, and then when you go too far, they will need to lose interest in you, so that like they are not always like processing the entire like AI of trying to figure out how to shoot at you best. And some enemies would still probably be best if they followed you forever. But also, like, how, for optimization's sake, you can't have them all functioning fully at all times. So there's just a lot of questions about that you don't think about, like you don't anticipate in a game like this. Just like Mario, where enemies just like kind of have a little zone, and if you're like Goombas, they run at you. I guess it's kind of Dark Souls-like as well. They have like this range within which they have interest and out of which they don't. But these enemies are much more involved to fight than even Dark Souls enemies, right? So they should act slightly less exploitably, so that you can't do like the Dark Souls thing where you step back a meter and the enemy turns around and you like land a free hit on him. I actually forget what solution I had for that, like how to make... Oh, I guess it will be the range of like range of where enemies lose interest and where enemies gain interest would be different ranges. So like you wouldn't be able to just go back and forth and just make them just wiggle between aggroed and not aggroed. But there are a lot of like small things that need to be accounted for. So pretty much is worthy its own separate Google document, so that the programmer can make sure that all the tools are there. And ways to spawn enemies as well. Patrol routes, or just like free roaming within an area, or completely stationary sniper style. And the ways they would shoot, so like some enemies we wanted to do with the turtles, for the turtles in the last demo, that if you go behind an obstacle, they would shoot a couple more times at the last place where you were within the line of sight, like not through the column at you, but the last place where you were not behind the column, or something like that. Actually, I don't think they shoot through the column now. At this point, they stop trying when you're behind cover, so you could kind of like cheese them, like just dipping behind cover real quick for them to cancel their shot or something. But some enemies, they really need to just stop trying to shoot, for example, or I guess that's something that I will have to think about a lot. Which, like, you'd think that Serious Sam level intelligence for enemies should just work, because it works in Serious Sam. And I don't remember right now, like, I cannot concentrate enough to remember why we couldn't just do really simple AI like that. But that's probably because, like, in Serious Sam they don't even have pathfinding, right? And they're all Dooms. All Dooms would work worse, I feel like, if they had proper pathfinding, because they would just all, like, have this shitty crowd following you, instead of them kind of, like, dispersing randomly throughout the level, while trying to vaguely follow your direction. In Serious Sam, I guess the level structures are largely more open and linear, so you don't really get concerned with them roaming well or anything like that, or following you across challenging terrain. And in levels like the Tomb of Ramses, a lot of them are just like standing in one place and shooting at you. Like the Scorpions or the Rocketeers and stuff. Man, though, I should really replay Hippocate. I remember you complained about like the design of like ambushes for every little item, right, in Serious Sam games.
Yeah.
But which version had you been playing by that
The
point?
original.
Okay, because I found, like, I wrote it in Discord, I found the HD remasters are completely unplayable. Or I mean, they are playable and people obviously play them and get good at them, but to someone who was as used to like enemy physics as I, probably you as well, holy shit, the HD remasters are just like unwieldy, and just like impossible to handle anymore. And the balance, I feel like, wasn't changed, like the fights and nothing was changed to accommodate the differences in how the enemies behave and act, and just like physics of them. But I feel like at the original Sam kind of mysteriously still good, and I want to replay them on serious difficulty without save scamming or cheesing as much. For example, in the Oasis in First Encounter, the frog room. Oh, that didn't happen. The frog room I had to cheese in HD in Fusion because it was impossible. Like the frogs in large numbers seem like completely impossible to deal with in HD for some reason. While in the original Summon they were way easier to circle strafe around reliably. It probably has to do with them not having collisions with each other anymore. And they can get like move through each other. And somehow that changes things. And the scorpions now, the skeletons freaking just fly all over the place. And the Cucurbitos are completely deadly in close quarters because they're just like homing on you and you can no longer just like dodge. Because they will stop ahead of time and they will do the attack that hits you from like outside the hitbox. Which normally is reserved for when if you just stand near one instead of dodge its charge. Man, the fish feels like it's shrinking slowly as I'm fishing. Maybe it's like they're representing it getting tired or something. Or it's psychological. I wonder if I could beat this game without all the rewinds or if I would have no patience. Because how many lures I would have lost without it. And how much less time I would have had from all the failed fish attempts. I feel like I barely scraped by as it is. Not bad. Alright. I'm feeling fine about my overall catch.
Nice.
At this point, even putting one of the 16s feels good, man. I have probably enough time for like one more. Shallow areas, huh? Finally. I haven't caught anything substantial in any shallow area throughout this whole part. That a big fish? Looks like it. Let's try these again. What was this? I keep forgetting what the actual underwater here is like. Well, I don't know if that's big enough. I also need one thing I need to prepare for Twitch, I think, is like a hotkey or something button to mute myself and maybe even disable the webcam. Because what if I have like a sneezing fit? I wouldn't want to have to loudly sneeze into the microphone on stream. I guess you just set up a hotkey on the keyboard or something, right? For that kind of stuff.
Or you get headset with a physical button to disable it,
Well,
like I do.
I ain't gonna buy a whole new piece of hardware. This headset's probably gonna break soon, knowing me. My headsets break all the time. And like microphones slowly stop working or something like that. So yeah, that was a lie. Regarding the fish finder, let's see, maybe finally in the lily pads. Oh yeah, this is the like denser lily pad area. Ah no, this is the lily pad area. The area that was not dense was the one with the reeds. I mixed the two up again. The reeds area in this part of the lake is like two little shitty stripes of reeds. Nothing else. I have not really been fishing in the lily pads today. I feel like I caught like one fish there. That fish didn't look like a bass bass. It looked a bit crystally. Well, Hazmati, it's I guess technically it's like 6 sessions like the one that I'm doing here, and you can see how fast the game time is moving. So we are nearing the end of the session here, and however long my stream is, this is like times 6. This is the length of the game if you win every single time first try, and if you don't have to like replay lakes or anything. Is that a... no, that's like... it looks like a smaller fish. Can't really tell during movement. But I guess if you play on your own without rewinding or anything, if you keep failing, you will probably still keep upgrading your like strength and skill and whatnot, and eventually still win. I don't know what upgrading skill does, but maybe it's like less chance of losing the fish when it starts to jiggle around, or maybe the fish catches on faster, or you like hook the fish, snag the fish easier or something. I kinda wanna try one of them bushes here. I don't remember if I caught anything at them so far. And there's that shallow shore again that I feel like I caught something good at, but I don't remember what it was. By which I mean not the fish, but the area. What was like the area? What was the area like? There we go. English. Yep. Okay, it's just depressing empty. Oh no, those the little weird things. I guess it's just like seaweed, or not seaweed, but you know, kelp or whatever. It seems like it's only in one direction because of like the water. Does the water flow anywhere in the lake? I guess maybe it has some sort of like internal flow. Is that a thing? Maybe not.
I'm not even sure how lakes work. Shouldn't lakes be like separate from rivers and stuff?
Well, you know, rivers feed into lakes and come out of lakes anyway, but some lakes are isolated, which then is kind of a mystery how they stay full without evaporating gradually, but I guess they're just like from rain and water kind of like coming in, they still get refilled. As far as I know, lakes that are not connected to rivers only are the kind of lakes that got formed by like when glaciers scraped out like extra, basically formed the basins, and so the water collects there, but not from like a river widening gradually. Why did I say shortly? Because like I think normal lakes might be largely when it's like formed on the rivers or something like that. I'm not actually sure. I might be just completely making this up. But there are lakes that were formed by just like a glacier sliding across the area, scraping out accidentally like a deeper part of the soil, and then it's like, you know, water stores there. And I think those kinds of lakes eventually become just like these wetland bog marsh type places where it's like inconvenient to walk, but it's not really a body of water as you think of bodies of water. But even these ideas I have only from like watching a fantasy world building video about how in real life some stuff works and how to apply it to making up a fictional map or stuff like that. Those are fun kinds of videos sometimes. Because I love realism, even if I'm not making anything, just thinking about stuff. I still like realism. And things grounded in realism. Okay, this might be my last fish today then. It looks big, I think. Stop and go motion. Wow, immediately worked. Maybe just get it. Wow, that was quick. Maybe it's not my last fish. What should be another like dozen and small? No, I think it's actually bigger than my worst fish right now. Oh, Bigger than a couple. Okay. Like half a pound win. And possible skill grinding progress. There is this mysterious part, like this here area. Does it get any marking? Maybe not. But there's like this little hole in it here that I want to investigate if it's different at all. Hello Luis. Yes, blame Hippocat as well. Well, I guess it is Hippocat to blame. I don't remember if I had considered fishing today before Hippocat suggested. I guess not, because like the earliest thing was Hippocat's Skype message about it, and that kicked off my thinking about it in the first place. Then I came to Hippot's stream and I was like, yeah, you know what, I might as well do it. Okay, I don't see any good big fish here. Now let me just point out that I've dropped 0 frames. I need to play some really intense game later on stream just to make sure that, you know, when my processor isn't busy or is busy, it's not gonna stop doing all the frames or something. So
You are streaming with your video card, right?
maybe,
Well, you have NVENC selected.
maybe.
Okay.
I wonder if I can check it right now. Actually, I'm too lazy to check to find like which category it is in which tab. But if it's the hot new latest setting to have, I probably have it because I followed that one tutorial. It was like 2020's best OBS settings. Yeah, it's small shitfish here. Yeah, I might have had real bad settings before actually. Let's see if this one's different. I swam out of that hole in the reeds. I'm not sure if it's gonna make a difference. Did I try the shallow shore? Did I come from that? Okay, that looks like a big enough fish. Actually, I might as well follow this and do the sideways throw later into that fish. What? I wonder, apropos of nothing, I wonder how involved and difficult the process of making a live 2D model is. And if all the software involved is free. Because I was thinking why no one has done before, just like taking a photograph of you, splitting it into layers, and making a live 2D out of your own photograph and then trying to do that. If our software at work still did like 3D mesh building instead of just like a series of frames from videos of looking at an object, I would totally try to like get myself scanned so that my real shitty face model, like bad quality, bad texture face model, came out, and I could rig it and use it in like face recognition mask thing that, you know, for when you want to be like a furry or something in streams. I think people use like 3D models based on face recognition and not just live 2D. Okay, I'm gonna throw again. So that would be kind of interesting to be like a VTuber of your own face, essentially, but looking way awkward because it's fake and mechanical. Ugh. Stop and go motion. The fish is already awake. so it's a good sign. Maybe it'll bite. Oh, it was like it had a smaller fish inside it, but the small fish likely isn't interested. Come on. Close to the... Another... Is it like a big Bertha or whatever it's in Mario 3 that's like spawning smaller fish continuously? What the hell, man? How many small fish can you have inside you? Nah, this is taking way too long. Might as well rethrow. Stopping the motion. What if I did the wiggle instead? Used to work. Kinda need stop and go to cross this. Because when I pull down, my thing sinks. When it sinks into the planks, it cannot go anymore. So I needed like to stop to make it float up a bit. Okay, fine. Which is kind of weird. You wouldn't expect like a fishing lure that you are pulling in, that pulling it in would make it sink and letting it stay would make it float back up. But I guess it could be shaped thusly, that like moving towards you makes it descend in the water, but it doesn't seem like it is, so I don't know. Maybe it is a really obvious and well-known thing about fishing that I'm not aware of, because all I've ever known is just like putting a worm on a hook.
Or a bread.
Or a bread, and not even using the kind of thing that you reel in like this, but it's just like a stick with a string that you try to just then wave backwards. Never had a reeling fishing rod like these ones in this game. At the very least I have not seen or like used one. We might, like our family might have owned one somewhere. Could be in amongst all the weird knickknacks in the dacha houses, where there's like a guitar and apparently a freshly bought set of strings somewhere buried in the garbage. Oh wow, that's, well, maybe I leveled up from this. No, Luis, never. You know what? I kind of feel like graduating at this point, by which I mean returning to the dock. I could probably... I have time to catch a couple more, but let's see how our current collection performs. I will probably never stream Pokemon stuff, Luis. I almost considered buying the Switch Pokemon, but then I didn't, and I'm really not interested in Pokemon games overall. So it's not gonna happen. Come on. Come on. There we go. No, I need to press like all the buttons for it to, because it always like stays way too long at that. Alright. If we actually advance to the last lake, I'm gonna just like cast it a couple times to see if I find any fish at all. Right, I need to advance the dialogue here every time. Was that my lowest fish? I feel like I still had like a 40.
Yeah.
No. Oh, okay.
The smallest, probably.
I guess we pushed out all the 14s, yeah. I said that one, like a 16 got pushed out. One of the last fishes that we caught. I'm waiting for the 20 to be like 17 instead. This is accurate so far. Ah, it's still 18. Not a 20. Oh well.
It's pretty annoying. Like, you think you're doing good, but oh, this is 2 pounds smaller.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm still second somehow, which is... I feel like the previous times I placed this third, or did I place second every time I played the previous 2 sessions on this lake? I don't remember, but let's see. And apparently that was enough for me to be the top overall, I guess. number doesn't really make sense to me. Is it like average between the 3 lakes? It's not a sum of the 3 results. Maybe it's like 5 best fish or something. Alright. Let the screen sit on this password in case I need to use it again from my stream VOD. And now that I know that the passwords actually store like weather, upcoming weather, I know that no point saving ahead of time and then reloading to see the weather change. Final test to be among the top pro anglers battling for the top three top places, yes. First place winning the prestigious title of Super Bass Champion. Bluestone Lake. Yeah, you see here, this looks urban as hell. No wind but cloudy. I can take no wind. No wind's good. So let's just browse it quickly. Did I quick save? Let's. Cloudy makes the palette kind of toxic looking. But here we go. There's the highway. This just makes me think of Silent Hill 2 for some reason. Even though it's not really foggy. The highway is like way thinner diagonally, which is funny because it's just like poor drawing the graphics. There's fish finders pinging, but I don't trust it. I wonder if any of this is gonna be like a new unique environment style for the fishing point date. Like, what is this, for example? Is this normal reeds or what is it? I'm actually excited because I don't remember this like very well. I don't remember this area, for example. Reed bed. Oh, I wanna look at it. Oh, I'm not gonna do the lake. I wanna look at this. I wanna see if there's in fact an urban like city skyline in the distance, at least background for any of these areas. Oh no, I'm throwing the shit pencil. Never mind all that. It doesn't really make a difference, but I don't want to use the shit pencil. Out of principle. But yeah, let's see if there's any fish here at all, at least. I wonder if I'm misremembering and there were fish when I played this from passwords. Well, none at the first sight. Huh. Oh, there's a small fish. There's a small fish. There's fish! Rejoice!
At least your ROM isn't haunted, so that's nice.
Right. I'm kinda hoping for a big one though. Well, not today, but when I do the last Super Black Bass stream. Okay, what would be a different area here? Maybe this. This should be a different area. Boom. Boom. I guess I don't really need to throw as far as I can. Just pull quickly immediately. I'm just gonna... No resting lunkers. Maybe there is like fewer fish here. Or just really small fish. Pretty sure this, like, the increase in fish size is supposed to be uninterrupted. So I don't know. Maybe the spots here are different and more challenging. Oh, I know. There's also whatever that is interesting. You know. What's this? Well, it doesn't say anything about it here. What background is gonna have? Some kind of bridge thing. So, well, I'm not sure what this is either. There's some interesting looking landscape under all this. Would have some interesting looking spots. All these kinds of rocks. This is way better than the 3 like very limited parts that were all the same of the previous lake. Now there's like super rocks here, also no different. But I remember there's a place here that's like a place where they breed fish and it's actually prohibited to fish there.
Well, Luis, I got the PB, so that's nice.
Ah, there we go.
To play GTA 2 again for a little while at least.
Check this out, like straight up projects. Or like big houses like there.
That
Ooh,
looks kind of, I don't know, post-apocalyptic a little bit.
maybe because I wonder how this would look in sunny weather, because the palette changes and everything. But those far away, like the brown, this building here looks really like, oh yes. The green, I mean the tall gray one, I could take it or leave it, but the brown one was like, hell yeah, it's my jam. Let's see what this is. Still open water. The same background here. I think this is that bridging area. Spillway, maybe not. Ah, no different here. Is one of them? No, okay. Because in the first lake, I think there was one area that looked the same as the others at first glance, but at the very sides, very edges of the available space, it had like slightly different tiles. Also, new docks. Finally, we have docks that are part of the place and not just like automatic and the fishing. But oh no, they are roughly here. And I can land
That's
and
kind of really weird.
yeah, like the scale seems completely off.
And the placement seems like questionable. Like you're standing on the no, I guess you're in a boat. Still kinda looks really strange. Like what the fuck are these dogs doing there?
Where is the big fish? This is a resting fish and that's like thin and shit. I'm afraid and next time playing this game is gonna be my first failure, because I just might not be able to find big fish anywhere. Ah, that's the breeding zone. Surely, because this is like marked. Spawning pool, I guess. Spawning vats. So I think if you land inside, it probably takes away your lure or something. Or just prohibits you from fishing there. I don't remember where and how to reach it, because I don't see anything here. Any zone that would like stop me from casting in there. Probably should have streamed a bit earlier than this, but yeah. Ah, there it is. So let's see what happens if I land in it. So hopefully not gonna just like kill me immediately. Spawning pool, no casting here. You lost your lure. Yeah, I lose. I still lose a lure for this.
You and your friends are dead, game over.
Yep. So I guess there are not too many unique like info having specific areas, but it looks like the landscape is varied enough and I will not have problem just cycling through a bunch of spots. Like what's this, for example, weeds is different than the weed bed or reeds or whatever. Also there's this, I guess, bridge highway type thing. Bridge, okay, it has its own thing. Bridge to nowhere. This weird ass island here. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit on the bridge and see how it looks in the background. Yeah, I don't see the bridge, but there's definitely some shit in the water. Alright. Give me one more carrot. Let's throw it into that. That looks like concrete. Maybe it's meant to be like one of them supports. Pillars. Ooh, I am inside the bridge. Nice. And I saw small, medium fish. Oh well. I am dreading trying to catch anything big in this lake. I hope they didn't completely change the mechanics so all the big fish is in like open water now. And the specific places, named places on the house, small shit. Or maybe like all the big fish comes after a certain period, after a certain time, and doesn't appear there right away. But this feels like what I could have mistaken for having no fish whatsoever, because there's only small shitty fish. So we'll see how this works. But I'm looking forward to, because I've finally done with 3 very samey parts of the previous lake. And finally there's something new, new backgrounds, new possible like top-down view places to look for silhouettes of fish in, and it's gonna be exciting. But I don't know when, because I'm not like coming back to my regular schedule yet. I don't feel motivated enough for that. It's like this whole isolation thing made me too used to just doing nothing at all. And I'm very slowly crawling back into activity and life, even though I've been going to work for a month almost. But well, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe well, I mean, definitely Hippocat's gonna stream a bunch before I do next. Even if we just consider tomorrow. So hopefully we can do the DLC tomorrow, Hippocat. But for today, it's about time we go to bed. It's past midnight. I have done the lake. So all good. See you next time, and goodbye.